Alrighty, hello everyone. We are back after a bit of a hiatus there. Had to take some time off on the weekend and Monday, Tuesday, and whatnot because I was very busy. But we're back playing the funny spaceship game Nebulous Fleet Command, kind of our staple of the channel nowadays. I do enjoy playing other games, but I've been trying to find some time and not really getting it. So we're going to be playing a little bit of Neb today. Just going to hop into multiplayer, see what we got. Looks like Switchback has Pillars Forever going. All the classic Switchback Pillars. Take a look, see if there's a game in progress. Given that we just joined, I'm assuming that this one, with its working time, is probably going to be a case of, nope, unfortunately, connection not had. Probably they were already counting down and just refused us, so we'll just see if that is the case. Yep, check again. Oh, okay, maybe we just got a bad connection. Let's see. There we are. All right, so hopping in, a couple of big names in here. You can see some of the gold ranks and stuff. I mean, they played the game for a while. I'm like 75% of my way to the Commodore rank, and I'm pretty happy about that. I've been putting in some hours trying to get better at the game, so gonna go ahead and see what we got from our team. We got Mungo Parker coming in here with, plasma cannons. Nice. Plasma, very good right now. Kind of a staple of the OSP's fleet. It's a multiplicative tool where it just enhances pretty much all of your other weapons' effectiveness. So usually seeing that kind of holding up the OSP. I do hope that it's not like a strict crush, so to speak, because I know that several games, well, if you have one thing that makes it so that a faction is viable, and then that's the only thing making that faction viable, then you've got a bit of a crutch mechanic. But I don't think that the plasma is necessarily the crutch, just the support tool intention role. That said, there's always the debate over whether something is overpowered, underpowered, etc. So we're going to go ahead and just ask a team nicely here. Let's see. Let's coordinate fleets. I'll give McCollum 3 on that. So we see we got some plasma liners. These, okay, it looks like I'll be going on a cap fleet then, so you can watch me skill issue myself here. I do enjoy these, so probably going to play, I think, Support and Salt number 1. The intended usage of this fleet is literally to generate balance complaints forums, as I have said before on the channel. It takes all of the things that people are upsetty spaghetti about and will rage nonstop on the forums, and that's their loss, because these things are in the game, and if you don't playtest them thoroughly and just rage about them and figure out, like, how do you counter this and whatnot, then you're never going to get better. So it is quite fun. Just takes advantage of the OSP strong assets. I have a mass driver liner with some T20 cannons in it, so I'm able to shoot light targets. I probably should put some point defense in this thing because it is very vulnerable to missiles, but at the same time, I'm pretty happy with it. It has intel center, so I can provide my team with good information. I think that I do need to make some tweaks. Gun plotting center would be nice, as I have noticed some of the mass drivers' shots will miss. But besides that, we've got some Bloodhound and early warning tugs, and then just a pair of little combat shuttles and whatnot here. Oop, hang on, this is actually the wrong fleet. Need to adjust this ever so slightly. Realized too late about that. Let's see. Making sure that that is... These are the... okay, right. So that means that I need to select the other one. This is not the cap fleet I thought it was. This one should be it, right? I think. Yep, there we are. There we are. All right, that's the one we wanted. So, minor skill issue, but... All right, now we're sure of the name. Just gonna ready up. There we go. So, sorry everyone in the lobby. I oopsed myself. I forgot which one I had loaded because they look the exact same. But, all right, let's do this proper. So, I'm going to be playing the cap fleet role. Generally in Nebulous, like 4v4s with 1,000 points, you're going to have one player who's designated as the cap fleet player. You're going to have probably like 2 frontliners. That's just kind of the way it trends to be. And then you've got a third sort of like flexible pick. I guess technically a fourth is your flexible pick. The idea is that with 2 frontline fleets, you're able to reasonably hold up against the enemy. You've got enough of your sort of, well, I would use the term drop tonnage because I, again, have played a lot of Mech Warrior, almost twice as much Mech Warrior as I have Nebulous, but it's catching up there. I've fought quite a few hours into Neb. So, anyways, more to my point, we're just going to do a quick deployment here while I'm talking. So, if you commit like about half your team's points into holding the front line, that gives you enough sort of like stable anchor that you can then go about doing some other stuff. We're going to deploy some of our scanning devices up around here and here. We're then going to use a underside guard. I think that the Sing Praise will go down low. Yep. And we'll have you, the high shot, try and work your way around there. So I've then got a couple of just little cap ships that I'm going to send around the place and have them on each point. I believe that is almost everything. Only thing we're missing is the Skulking Creep, which is our little safeguarder. So this thing is meant to deny enemy presence. It's a multi-mission tug with all the goodness that we have there. So I'm just going to send that like so. I think that looks good. Just gonna say I've got the caps, and yeah, we'll go from there. So the idea being, I use the mass driver with all of my various other assets, and I'm able to project myself across the battlefield. I've run this fleet on stream a couple of times before. I've got a couple of situational awareness assets, namely the early warning tugs, along with the Bloodhound. The Bloodhound is there so I can consistently get a good lock from my mass driver liner. The Bloodhound being very good with 2 track correlators, making it incredibly accurate, so we're going to be trying to take advantage of that. See our little bulk freighter coming in here now. I have recently renamed these because a friend of mine told me that they started recognizing my tugs names and they knew exactly which fleet I was running, which had me kind of get a oh no moment where I realized I've become predictable. Can't be having that, can we? We're just going to order our fleet in like so. You are just going to dip down over here and then have you go there. There we are. So I need to quickly get my various assets onto the points. That way I'm able to get the caps as soon as possible. This is the sort of standard rollout, if I could call it that, on pillars. Just capping all of your natural points here, getting your various assets. You can see a surrender CL allegedly there, so I'm going to also orient ourselves accordingly. I'm expecting something to be in the pillbox here, so I'm just going to use this little reference marker like so. There we go. Just keep that more or less there. We've got you. I'm going to have you hold fire and whatnot. All right, so you are just going to be going to the point you're going to set to receive because I don't need anything. Be there. The sweeper multi-mission tug is going to go here. This way it can quickly cover all 3 points if it needs to quickly react. I'm going to have the Sing Praise, go underneath the map. That way I'm able to scout for enemy flanks on this route. You can see I've already got some allies going down that route, the Pie fleet there. So we're just going to try and keep ourselves aware of where the enemy is. Early warning number 4 is going to be activating itself now. So I've got 10 ships here that I'm going to have to keep track of, which is going to go exactly as well as you expect. So, in addition to trying to keep you all informed about more or less what I am doing, I'm going to be horribly skill issuing myself here. That is interesting. I'm going to go ahead and attack marker that. If I had to guess, probably beams. Seems like a beam formation. Ooh, okay. That's different. That might actually be a frigate blob. That is a frigate blob. There you go. All right, so we have a frigate blob. You don't see these very often anymore. I don't think that frigate blob is necessarily good anymore, but I also don't think that it's bad. So, it's one of those like rarely seen things, so I can't really give like a good evaluation of it. Let's see, we are on point Eclipse here in a second. We will be getting off of that so we can go underneath. I'm just going to keep my early warning situated like so. And just keep sweeping around with these. You see something is underneath here, so we're going to quickly try and burn and catch up to that. Ideally, we will be the one to intercept. I didn't move fast enough to keep myself ahead of them being their scouts, so that's me doing a little bit of an oops. We're just going to see that there is a lot of... Okay, so that is at least 6 frigates here from the SCRP fleet. I'm going to call that out. Yeah, that will be that little awareness we got. I'm going to move you up because I'm expecting them to be causing us some trouble on that flank. Knowing that I won't be able to win against that kind of stuff, I'm just going to not pick that fight. Instead, I'm going to elect to go low and then just hide here. Okay, we got 1 lock on here, which means that we know that the enemy is watching from somewhere. Let's see, is there a beam or what? We do not see where that is locking us from. Oop. Okay, so little scout here getting whacked. Very nice. Oop, we are taking hits. Yep, there is the beamstone, which we did not spot, unfortunately. We were just off angle. Dang it. There you are. You. Fire. You may fire when ready.
Roger that.
Open fire. This is the usual spot that you see these things covering for, because I went low. It's going to change the angle ever so slightly. That said, this thing is going to eat. Oh, just barely missed. Dang, I hate to see that. All right, let's see. 1D. E1. Okay.
Orders, Commander. We're on the move.
Give me callouts here.
Ready.
Let's see, what do we got? Ooh, we have a battleship up top. Okay, so yeah, that is going to be something to keep an eye out for. That said, situational awareness is pretty good right now, so we're just going to keep firing on that. Going to make sure that our targeting is good, keeping the lock as best we can.
Underway.
We are. So, unfortunately, we have now lost track of them. They've dipped back into cover, which is kind of to be expected. They did the right thing where they covered the A point. That said, we are currently behind by 2 caps, so it is our current turn in initiative. We are also going to have a reactive bloom here in a second, so that'll be a lovely little firework. So, we got our sweeper in position here to try and contest anything that comes around. That said, it's meant to be contesting lone assets, not anything big. We know that the enemy is over there, ready and willing to shoot us with a beamstone, so we're just going to order our fire to be about there. See, this early warning needs to adjust itself a little bit since it is currently getting tracked, and I don't see by what, so we need to keep an eye out around here. Oop, those are going after us, so we need to just quickly... do we have chaff on this? I don't believe we do. Okay, so those are going to be size 2 missiles, I want to say. This thing probably going to spell death here. Yep, so size 2's there. Unfortunate. Nothing I could have done to save that asset, unfortunately, so... Yep, we're just going to have to be aware of the other side of the map then. They're trying to take out our situational awareness assets, which will deny us our sort of intelligence. That said, we do know that there is stuff coming around on that angle, so I'm going to quickly adjust myself like so. We see there is some stuff going on downstairs, but that is perfectly fine. We have that under control. I'm going to try and do an attack on that beamstone if I can. With like the angling that it's got, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get a flank off on it. I'm going to adjust my mass driver fire to be over here, so that way I'll be able to hopefully engage the enemy. Complete comp. There we are. Just gotta give myself an attack marker here so that I know roughly where they at. That way I can then angle myself accordingly. So I'm expecting that mass driver to be there, or the mass driver to be over facing this direction, which is what I'm playing around primarily now. We can see that there is, in fact, some enemy assets here, so we're going to give ourselves a couple warning pings here and there. So warning number 1, you can see them doing a very good job here playing defensively in that. Do we get visual on that? We do not, but I am pretty sure that they do not know I am here, so we're going to try and be brave and check this. I'm betting I can flank past this thing. Once before on stream, I managed to get a really good shot onto a keystone with my rockets, so we're going to try and do the same thing there. We've got you coming around here, so we just need to be aware of where the enemy assets are at. That is interesting fire coming from somewhere. All right, hi you. You'd be so kind as to come around the rock like so. Thank you. Probably going to get torped for this, but, you know, hey, whatever. Yep, he is not looking the right way. We are going to get him in a second or two here. Gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, and fire. Also going to have you hold your throttle here. Just change your heading. Actually, the heading is probably going to cause us problems. Yep, just going to fire your missiles now, please. Thank you. Boop, 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 boop. Come on, get him. Get him. Now, unfortunately, we're going to cease fire then because we are not going to get those hits. And instead, we're just going to run behind this thing because we are a little jerk like that. And hopefully, we'll get it in the blind spot. As for you, I know that there's another beamstone over here. Let's see. Is your targeting angle good yet? You're trying to get back up here. You're going to accelerate flank speed. High shot. You are going to try again for that with you. High explosives. You are going to come down here. And you're going to fire high explosives into you. There we are. Now, again, I am not quite getting visual here. All right, let's see. Defenders. Yep, all defenders. We're just going to sneak up behind this thing and then tap it in the butt because it can't really do anything about that. If you fire from close enough, then defenders won't actually be able to do anything. So, let's try it. Pew, pew, pew. Fire. Fire the missiles. There we are. All right, let's see. So you are taking, unfortunately, torp damage from behind. We tried for a push there that didn't end up quite working out. Your missiles are unfortunately out. That said, you are going to reactor. No, you're just going to mag bloom. Dang it. I was hoping for a reactor, but oh well. Reactor? I barely know her. That said, we are going to now orient our fire, hopefully with this, trying to rotate so my team can engage. We see that the enemy has scouted us out here, so we want to get under this rock and then not be seen. That would be better for us. I should be able to provide some jamming here. Gonna tell him to do that, and then with any luck, we'll be able to fire a couple shots here. There we go. So unfortunately, we do lose some of our scouting and poking assets here, but we should be able to get a shot or two into them. Here we see many good hits. Gonna fire even more. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. This is what we were after, trying to get close enough so that their gunners are not able to effectively engage us. And have you disable your flank speed and then just move around this thing. This thing is thoroughly dead now. Boom, boom. So we do actually manage to get the kill here, although there is sprinters to clean us up. So enemy doing a good job with their supporting assets. Probably playing against the enemy cap fleet player here. Order you to fire on that one instead and adjust your scanning as well. Thank you. So we see that the enemy is moving around here. We have a Solomon as well, which is going to be a problem. I might be able to sneak a cap asset around, but I kind of want to keep myself at range here. So you can see, unfortunately, we are taking a lot of torpedoes, and they are cleaning up my various assets. Still, we are getting some good damage dealt into them. Here we see that Solomon trying to randomly spray us at this range. That is effective enough range that they can hit us. We're going to return fire on that. Even though our mass drivers aren't the best tool for hitting them, it also means that our line ships over here, once they get their 450s locked on target. Yep, there we go. Gonna call that one. There we are. So we got that one effectively spotted, and now we're just going to unleash pretty much everything we can into it. 450 liners, not in the greatest state balance-wise right now, but they are still able to spew a respectable amount of fire, so we're going to try and take advantage of that, hiding under rocks where we can. Our spotty is going to try and be moving away here. We need more situational awareness around the map, so I'm going to try and move you up like so. Should be able to hold a lock here. 450 is not very good at hitting small targets. They will often over-penetrate or just straight up, miss, as we are seeing here. So, a couple hits across the ship, but that's fine. We'll turn off the flank, actually, because I want my damage control team to eventually get this thing fixed. I'm just going to set it to evasive, so it's a little bit jittering back and forth, even though 450 is probably not going to make too much of a difference. You can see my team counter-rotating here. We've got our nice little front line from Mungo Parker with the plasma build that we saw earlier. Then we've got our 450s basically all triangulating onto the Solomon. So unfortunately, the enemy does kind of have cap presence that I can't really contest. I was not able to deny the A cap earlier as I was doing too many things at once. So again, I'm very limited in the bandwidth of my brain. That said, this little shuttle is going to hide here and eventually cap back to E point. Just going to marker this thing here. Wop, wop. There we are. That way, I know what this is. Like nuh-uh. Yes, like nuh-uh. Anyways, we're going to try and go underneath here, because I'm expecting that thing to pop out there, then I'm going to hit it with a bunch of missiles, and it's going to be good. Just trying to more or less keep myself in the presence here. We have been pushed back thoroughly, but we are also pushing heavily into their backline. We see an Acello here going to town on some of their support asses. What the heck? Well, you don't see that every day. They have a rail battleship. Okay. That thing has basically not moved since deployment. I'm not sure why that's there, but you know what? There we go. We're just going to signal these things have been cleared out and killed. Clean up the battle space a little bit for our awareness. Anyways, the sweeper is gonna quickly head down here, if you wouldn't mind. Come on, buddy. We should be able to see them, and then with any luck, get some jamming done. Gonna order jamming more or less on that vector. There we go. Grape shot and missiles out. Whoop, whoop. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Now, if we can see here, I should be jamming them, and we should get some missile strikes on target, ideally. I'm hoping that these don't go into a rock. Please don't go into a rock. Oh, these are going to go into the rock, aren't they? Oh, maybe not. Okay, one went into the rock. Come on, weave, baby, weave. Okay, so this thing is royally toasted, so these should be kills. I hope. One hit, and come on, 2 hit. All right, so it's not quite a kill, but we are doing quite well against it. They're going to finish firing the grape shot here and go for there. All right, so we see that the enemy is unfortunately like right next to us. Ah! Where do they come from? So we need to quickly move out from there. Going to switch over to firing high explosive rounds. Hopefully we will kill this thing. I think it is actually dead. Yes, it is dead. All right, so this target has been killed. We've denied them the cap on the E point. We're going to order our ceasing of fire and then quickly move around the rock as best we can. I know that they have a beamstone somewhere, but with any luck, I will be able to cap this. I don't think they have another one watching that point. We know that there's enemies abound on the E point, so we should try and get our little cap asset out of here while we can into a place that they are not looking, ideally. Let's see, you need to be getting me better awareness, because if I lose track of the enemy, I've done something horribly wrong. As for you, you need to be down here. That's the Solomon that we knew in question. We need to be moving ourselves somewhere where we can get proper anglings on them. Gonna try and orient like so. You can see us cleaning up the enemy's backline pretty well. We have you, who is able to volunteer to go YOLOing onto the A point, although that said, with the rains there, I don't think that's going to end up working out, so we'll need to do something else. Instead, we're going to have you try and zoom across the battle space into the D point. Let's see. So, unfortunately, the sweeper has been locked on here, so we are going to quickly provide jamming. Wop, wop. And hopefully this will make a bunch of these miss. We're going to pop ourselves some chaff here. I really hope those aren't Hodge. Those might be Hodge. Come on, Pavis, do your thing. Yeah, let's go. All right. Going to fire all of our missiles that we have remaining here. Just boop, 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 boop. Ah. Gonna dump these while I can. I'm assuming that my sweeper is unfortunately not going to do much here. I'm just going to try and jam what I got. Ow. In that case, we're going to see that they do kind of go whoop. Yeah, missiles kind of getting jammed here, unfortunately. Frig Blob is respectable for what they got. They have a bunch of VLS-2s by the looks of it. Okay, so VLS-2s, Illuminators, and whatnot. Okay, looks like a Gale spam fleet. So Gales are good missiles. I actually made a meme that got into the react. Oop, yep, not gone to the reactor. Okay, I made a meme recently about missile play, and like people was kind of like coming around on it, realizing that yeah, it turns out just throwing a whole bunch of size 2 missiles at someone is still really, really good. All right, as for you, I need the long-range track radar applied to that, please. I can clean up this, although getting the angles is going to be difficult. All right, So you just need to go across here, and with any luck, you'll get that back cap done. I won't be able to contest that point, so we're just going to try and keep our assets alive in this case, because I did kind of lose a bunch of my cappers earlier. I did manage to get a beamstone with one of them, so it thoroughly paid for itself. Here we see the point defense being tested. Gale spam is quite good right now, because a lot of people are very confident in using soft kill, as opposed to just having, like they say, a flak check. The counter to this is literally just having flak, and a lot of ships are just not relying on that, which makes, I think, honestly, this a very, very viable build. It does look a little silly going all in with the kind of Gale spam strat, but it does kind of work. We do manage to get the 8 point here, so we are falling behind only a little bit on caps. There's Sprinter here. I don't believe that I got their Destroyer that was watching the C point, but, ooh, hello you. You appear to be dead. Okay, cool. So yeah, we've cleaned up their backline quite a bit. This Solomon could be pounded basically all day and it still won't die, which is rather unfortunate. We do manage to get a lock here, but it's not what I wanted to lock onto, so we're going to try and see if we can't search for that Gale spam fleet. There they are. You've got Gale. All right, so we're going to try and keep our early warning radar locked in a position where we can... Those are going all over the place. All right.
Enemy is locking on to us.
Okay, so we're going to try and get a lock onto these guys, ideally. There we are. Start your early warning radar out. Yep. I believe, yep, we got something scuttled. Where was that? Yeah, okay, so the sweeper unfortunately goes down. Kind of to be expected given what we're facing. See a reactor bloom going off there. Not sure what that was. You can see Pi doing something over on this side of the map, nicely handling that flank. We did a little bit of contributing, but we still have to manage our assets respectively. If they move off of the E point, I should be able to grab a cap here or two. Why can I no longer see them? That is rather annoying. You would please adjust your sense. They are probably under a rock, which is unfortunate. So instead, we're going to have a lock on you if we can. How's the tug still alive? Colon 3 is my defense. All right. Going to orient my fire accordingly because I know that they are on the A point proper. We can't see them currently, which is rather annoying due to the sensor angles. There they are. Let's see if we can't get you a early warning lock, because I know that they are moving in formation. That said, we can punish them for moving in formation. Just going to give myself an attack marker here, so if I do lose track of them again, then I'll be able to hit them. In this case, this is where the collective punishment will come in, because we now have 3 fleets looking at them, and this thing is going to eat mass driver fire in a second. Boop, boop. Going to mark you as priority so we know which one we're shooting. There we are. Trying to keep ourselves off the enemy radars as much as we can. Unfortunately, they have a situational awareness asset up here that is scouting me out with early warning, so I wouldn't be surprised if a scouting missile gets sent my way or something. See flak check going off there again. Unfortunately, not much in the way of flak brought, but that said, there's a whole bunch of anti-missile missiles trying to come out and play here. A couple of them managed to hit, but a lot of them are going to get through. That said, these are bulk freighters, so they can take a beating, and you'll need more than just the like size 2 missile spam to actually kill that. All right, let's see. You need to go into early warning onto you, please. Thank you. I'll try and keep myself locking one of them, ideally. There we are. I should be able to hit this one in a second once this radar return goes good. We might just be out of range, though, unfortunately. Dang. All right, so I had to get a little bit closer then. Let us see. So we will see Pi cap that one in a second. I'm going to move down to try and position myself to recap there. Ideally, I'll be able to get that before the battleship goes. We're going to hold fire here until we get that better lock. Unfortunately, we are just like a little too far out of range for our radar return to be good on that, so we need to quickly move ourselves in.
Go ahead, Commander.
Try and get situational awareness from the right angle over here. A little bit complicated what we're doing right now, trying to keep everything more or less in order. There we go. That is a shootable track. Open fire. Pew pew. Set our roll and heading more or less on what we've got currently. That way it will default to that. Gonna be firing mass drivers into these. Mass drivers very effective against lighter assets such as the Sprinter or the Rains class frigate. That being the Sprinter Corvette. For those of you who are not in the know, I know there's a couple people on my channel who have not played Neb, but just enjoy seeing the spaceships go kablooey. So this one's for you. I'm gonna double back across instead this time. Gonna order myself to hold fire here. I'm really hoping my allies will be able to provide a good track for me, but unfortunately, it looks like they've got their own problems over here. I'm going to have to try and clean these up, but I just don't have a good radar track on them, so it's proving difficult. We're going to instead provide a cross fix on this thing. As long as we don't have anything to see, we're going to go ahead and adjust to there. There we are. Looks like the enemy has left behind the point, so we are just going to snake our little asset back onto it now. If the enemy is making a mistake, it's your task to try and exploit that, and in this case, they are making a mistake. You see that they've got a couple little bit of, what's this, just a Torp Sprinter? Just Torp Sprinter trying to contest here. I think this is just a missile dumper. Yeah, so that's going to unfortunately not cap it. Yacello might be able to get something done. We'll see. It's got that Rail Solomon still to contend with. Yeah, missile fleet, unfortunately, going right into our line here. Not much we can really do about that. Yeah, going to have to set myself flank speed full ahead here, trying to get through. I don't have a radar, unfortunately, able to see that. Just trying to get my assets over here so I can provide a crossfix. I'm not sure where our other fleet went. Okay, so they rotated up to the C point. That's a good move. They're trying to deal with that rail battleship down there. We are falling behind on points, and we are going to get really pushed here, so I need to do something about that. I'm going to try and draw them up higher here, so hopefully they will go after me instead of the B point, with any luck. I'm going to order my fleet actually to aim over that away-ish, give or take there. There we are. Going to try and get a good ping, selecting something more or less on the same horizontal plane. That way I don't have to verticality myself as much. There we are. We have an attack ordered there. We have you able to fire your Bloodhound search and lock radar. Come on, fire control, baby.
Send your traffic.
Gonna bind you to number 3, so things are more or less easy. You can now rebind ships, which is a very helpful feature. We're able to snake the E-cap from behind their backs before they even notice it. All right, we're gonna focus fire on you, and with any luck, get a good hit in. Whap whap. There we go. You see my T-20s firing off against whatever they can here. I'm assuming the enemy has limited range, so we're going to try and play upwards here, just trying to basically run as far away from this as possible. See, this thing has taken a couple hits here and there. It is smoking now and then. But unfortunately, we are facing a smaller target, and most of our mass driver going wide there. Our track is not perfect. We are a little bit further away than I'd like to be for my scouting and situational awareness assets. I'm going to try and move myself like so. There we are. So now we are able to sneak onto the back cap point here before they are able to. They're probably just going to park the Solomon on the A point if it makes it. It is taking a lot of heat, though. So, just to turn off the flank jets here. We are capping back A point, but we are going to lose B once this swarm eventually gets done doing its thing. I think I'll focus fire on you because you're the lead ship, as far as I can tell. I'm going to mark you as priority. There we are. You can see them just burning straight towards us. I'm trying to get away here, but I don't believe that I will be able to. I'm already moving at maximum speed, and they appear to be closing on me, so rather unfortunate. You can see mass drivers here, unfortunately going a little bit wide. That's partially due to mass driver inaccuracy, partially due to the track quality I've got here. It's not a perfect track, as you can see it jittering around. I love firing on locks, but unfortunately I did not bring any, so just going to have to go with good enoughs.
Standing by.
What's your Bulker doing? It's best.
There's been a launch.
I think that's the wrong. There we go. Yes. Okay, so we see a couple missiles coming out here. You see one of them has split off now and gone towards the B point, so we know what is up. We have a couple of counters to that, I think, which we might not actually end up using because I'm pretty sure that we can't see those missiles incoming. Right, because we don't have a radar on this thing. Ah, yes, little silly things. All right. That said, we are able to kind of fire on these, maybe. Yeah, okay, so that's Hodge semi-active. All right, interesting.
Heading there now, Commander.
You can see them. They are losing their Oh, okay, actually, I know exactly what we have to do here. We have to pop chaff like so, and then that should ideally go after the chaff, which is also illuminated since they should be locked onto me. A couple of those will end up hitting us there. Not much we can really do in that case, but hey, we're trying. All right. Just going to have you pop a whole bunch of chaff actually now, and yep, we can see this now working. I think they have the widened set of illuminators. Just going to try and keep ourselves going here with whatever we got. I'm surprised they still have missiles left. I thought they would have dumped them all by now. That said, we are seeing the full dump going out here. This one is rendered harmless, so we're going to switch over to another one. Unfortunately, we are probably going to lose our bulk freighter here as was expected, so we're just going to try and scatter with the rest of our assets here. Thankfully, our team has managed to get onto the points. What do we got here? This thing is just popping all the chaff in the world. We're just going to quickly run as fast as we can, trying to keep distance between us and those rains. I'm hoping that they're just going to full dump me here, and that then they won't have anything left to hit my teammates with. Just trying to get what I got here. See them illuminating a whole bunch of stuff here, popping all the chaff I can to try and seduce some of those. Unfortunately, a bunch of them do end up going after me here, which is rather unfortunate, but hey, what are you going to do? See me popping a whole bunch of chaff clouds, so I'm hoping to catch their illuminator on that instead. You can see a bunch of them are, in fact, missing. I think that I do need to take some flak turrets with this, because just having like 1 or 2 flak turrets seems really, really useful. I could also close the distance to the enemy here and try and get my T-20s into play, which is partially what they are there for. You can see my ship here taking a little bit of damage, but overall we are actually doing pretty well. I'm going to order them to keep the mass drivers fixed as long as possible. So you see this one has been rendered harmless. We are trying to put damage out into these, but again, I just don't quite have a good enough angle and lock That said, the VLS on that one appears to be dead, so we're going to switch targets here, trying to knock out whatever we can with the time afforded.
How can we help today,
As for number 4 over here, which is thoroughly alive and well, hello, you. You have just... Alright, that is a Solomon down, the rail Solomon that was doing weird silliness most of the game. So, if we look over here, we can see that the little sprinter that could is trying to hold this point, but there's 450 going into it. Even though 450 does negligible damage to a sprinter because it overpens, you can see it has caused a fuel line fire, a big old fire jet coming out there.
Ready.
Yeah. We're just pecking away at whatever we got here. They should split their fleet and try and encompass multiple different angles and hit me from that, but they're just choosing to do the simple route of moving straight at us.
Gotcha.
I'm going to try and keep that battleship on track because I know something is locking me down there. It is not the Rains. Where are you? There we are. That should be the battleship there. Yep, so mark that priority. Gonna call that out to the team. There we are. So we're scuttling as best as we can, just trying to get ourselves away from the enemy. Unfortunately, we are losing power here. Let's see, our reactor is getting hit by 450, so yeah, that will be very devastating towards us. We're trying to just clean up whatever we can here, and just overall get the caps back. You see the enemy has quite a few points, but we should be able to deprive them of some of that. Why did they have something on the E point? What the heck?
Internal damage.
Okay. This ship doesn't have a radar, so I must not have seen that. That's rather annoying. Okay. Maybe they hit an asset just like I did. Kind of a reversal there. Well done. You see them now splitting off their various assets, trying to get themselves a point. Let's see. You are not under command, and you are popping life pods. Excellent. So you're going to be the next target. So we have actually managed to get them. Yep. Mungo, Colin D frigates are splitting off here indeed. We're trying to put space between us and that battleship, but it is just pretty much suited to just, drive straight at us. There's not really much we can do right now about that. Just going to try and repair what systems we can. 450 in this range, I don't really have any protection against this, and mass drivers will not deal enough damage to really keep this thing down. It is a battleship that's just happy to advance towards me. I'm trying to clean up whatever assets I can, so we're going to do that there and that there. And then, ideally, I'll provide a good lock. The Solomon, though, is not actually our major concern. We need to win on caps, which means that we have to... oh, crap. This thing ate a missile from somewhere. Dang. So, I think that we're just going to end up losing on caps. Unfortunately, they decided to push us very well there with that coordination of the size 2 spam, the Gales, or I guess you'd call them Squales, kind of. It's a combination between Squall and Gale. And then the 450 battleship as well. Unfortunately, our team just kind of getting caught by surprise and folded with that. Our bulk freighters went high. They did some good damage around there, cleaning up the various assets in this sphere. But unfortunately, by the time that they're going to get back here and start counter-batterying stuff, I don't think that we'll be able to kill the battleship and go for a military victory. Instead, it's just going to be them capping us out on 2 caps. So, not to discredit my team, they've tried their best and whatnot. It sounded like there was some issues with the heading and roll of the plasma, which is rather unfortunate. It's kind of annoying when you have a ship, like you have 2 or 3 of them in formation, you order them all to fire on the same ship, and one of them just decides to flip over and get drunk. So, we see them now capping the A point. Not really much we can do about that. Looks like our team are ready to throw in the towel. I think that this might end up just being our first defeat here. I did misplay a little bit. I got a little bit greedy trying to push, and while I did get rewarded with the kill on a keystone there, which was very good, and it opened up the A point, unfortunately, it was not something I capitalized on. I did not have a capper ready and waiting for when I had cleared that to get onto the A point. I should have held a ship in reserve or had a flanker ready. Instead, I was electing to go underneath and do other silly shenanigans. So. Oh well, it is what it is. We have made some mistakes, and we have been punished for them, and we've also learned. So I'm going to throw in the GG here. Just see my team tap out in a second, I believe. They're going to get a 3 cap there.
Send it.
Yeah. Seeing the battleship here taking some hits, we're going to try and lock onto that with our Bloodhound, if possible. I'm not sure why it's oriented like that. There we go. Yeah. Only a matter of time now. I think we're just going to farm a little bit more damage. They're going to get the caps in any second, and yeah, that'll be the game. So, unfortunately, a defeat first time around, but hey, we take those. You're only going to win about half of your games on average, so as long as you're focusing on improving and not just like racking your brain because, hey, losses happen. The big thing to focus on is improvement. That's what I do on this channel, at least. I could repair some of this stuff. I don't think it'll really matter, but you know what? Might as well do it. There we are. Oh, I do actually have flak turrets on this. Nice. I was wondering if I did or not. Okay, how many systems is that? 1, 2, 3, 4... So, okay, so... Well, we probably won't need a plank. Yeah, we'll just get all the reactors and stuff. That should be enough power. I don't have the exact napkin math, but I think that's enough. Maybe. I'm not sure if a plant control center... I think a plant control center is worth more than a reactor if I double up like that, but... Anyways, we don't have enough power to do anything, unfortunately, so we're just going to set ourselves to regular speed, and then they'll cap out here in a minute or two, and we'll go on to another game. Yeah. But I do quite like this fleet. The combination of various assets, 2 early warning radars gets you great situational awareness. I scouted out that Frig blob very early on, and then we were unfortunately not able to counter it. We didn't really have any tools at the time to just directly counter that, which is also showcasing how, like, enemies, they can pick a build that is not exactly what I would call the, like, most seen or quote-unquote meta, but in turn is actually very good because a lot of people aren't expecting you to bring 6 frigates with Gale Spam. So in turn, it ends up working out very well against our team. Like, we had Plasma expected to take down a big ship, which they did not end up fighting. They ended up fighting a small swarm of little ships. We've got our 450 liners, which they just rotated and kept away from. So yeah. Overall shows that you can do some very cool, unconventional things and makes the game quite interesting. I do like that Neb is rewarding creativity like that. That's one of the big things I look for in games. Just ways to reward creativity and thinking. I'm going to try and focus on this thing if we can. Unfortunately, we don't have angle, but it's also not going to matter in a second or two. So, yeah, just trying to keep myself in the rhythm. Cap fleet is kind of by nature going to get wrecked. 3 of my ships are literally just sacrificial lambs to go to points, but... Anyways, that'll be the game. So, oh well. We live, we laugh, we love, we cried, all that jazz. So. You can see, unfortunately, Mungo just never really got a chance to do what Plasma does best. Plasma T20, very good combo right now. Tears apart large ships, but unfortunately had a roll issue and whatnot there, and then just got jumped by Gale Spam. My Mass Driver was able to do a little bit of damage here and there, but again, I didn't get the hits that I wanted. I noticed quite a few shots missing, so I might consider investing in a gun plotting center, reducing my spread. Also, seeing if I can't get a closer track. Ideally, you want, where is it? I think it's this one? Okay, I don't actually remember which one of them it is, but ideally you want your Bloodhound Tug with its 2-track correlators to be closest to the enemy as you can get without it being revealed. Keeping your scouting assets stealth is a very important thing to do. That way you're able to detect the enemy and they can't detect you back in turn. If the ANS team sees that they're on track, then it usually means they're expecting it. It's like, oh, it's an early warning radar. It's not a big deal. I'm not going to have like accurate fire fly my way, and then 3 mass drivers correct their intentions. So. Credit to them. 8-Ball bringing a good fleet here. The Gale Spam is there to punish people who do not bring the sufficient amounts of PD. And in this case, well, a lot of people are playing greedily and not picking PD. So nice to see a punishment tech piece come out for that. A bunch of other stuff. Let's see. We faced off. Yep. SCC fleet. This is mostly cappers. I do like this kind of combo where you've just got a pair of keystones to cover the points. In this case, both of these keystones end up getting wrecked. One of them, at the 8-minute mark, yeah, I was able to get onto this thing and rocket it from close range before the defender turrets could activate. The other one, I was a little too far away, so its defenders were able to get me. I think it had like maybe 3 of them in arc, so that's just going to shoot down my rockets, unfortunately. If I'd played a little greedier, then... maybe not greedier, if I'd been a little more patient, actually, instead of firing off my rockets early. If I fired under a kilometer, I'm confident I could have taken that thing out and gotten the point, but they did have counter assets, such as these little, maybe not these ones, these are just naked cappers. There's also the counters, such as these torpedo ships, yep. So you can see a bunch of the good torpedoes here, including some little axe size 1s. I do quite like seeing size 1 missiles paired with size 3 missiles. Something really interesting I found out recently is due to the PE tasking order thing. If you fire a torpedo, the PD will be trying to shoot down that torpedo as it's corkscrewing towards you, which means you can then fire a little size 1 missile to go along with it. And the size 1 missile just won't be targeted at all by the point defense because they're all prioritizing shooting down the big missile. So there's a good chance your size 1 will get through under the cover of a size 3. Neat little tech piece, and I do kind of want to toy around with it some more because I think that torpedo corvettes are quite good. We saw My Hands, Your Bones coming in with the Mace backpack and a bunch of 450, pretty good stuff. And then Scout Boy here had the rail battleship, which was kind of surprising to see. I don't think it really did much. No, it ended up just kind of getting clobbered at the match start. I don't think it moved anywhere, so yeah. Anyways, that's going to be the game for that moment there. We have an ad break coming up in a couple of minutes that would interject into the middle of the next game. So I'm just going to go ahead and look for a new game and run a little ad break intermission in the meantime. So we'll be back for more Nebulous nonsense in about 3 minutes. Yeah, don't go anywhere. Alrighty, chat. We are back at it again. Thank you for being patient and waiting. So we hopped into area official number 5. See some of the players from last game hopping in and out here. Was trying to see if there was a almost full lobby, but unfortunately we're just going to be stuck here waiting for a little bit. Currently sitting as spectator. Haven't decided which team I want to play. I think I kind of want to play ANS because last game we played OSP, so nice to keep both flavors coming in now. Got the classic little pairing I've got here, which is the Axe Brothers, the Axe Evasion, and the Axe Fraud, because I think I am funny. I do enjoy playing these. I've recently come around onto the, let's see, is it this one? Yes, the Spyglass with 4 track correlators. Yes, I got 4 on this. This is incredibly good, and I didn't realize just how powerful it ended up being until I recently tried it out. So what you can do is, normally with Axfords, you would want to try and fire on a Bullseye fire control lock. And Bullseye being very good, basically removing any track error and like positioning problems you would have. But with a Spyglass, you can get a fireable track at like 11 kilometers, which is pretty nuts. So yeah, being able to fire on that, especially against large targets like bulk freighters, where even though you have some positional error, it's somewhat compensated by the size of your target. Spyglass with 4 track correlators, I thought was a meme in the community for a long time until I started trying to use it, and I am pleasantly surprised by it. So yeah, quite enjoying the kind of 450 brothers there. Just nice little frontline staple fleet. 2 heavy cruisers is one of the first fleets that you'll learn to play. It's called Task Force Oak, and it is incredibly good. So I would recommend that to pretty much anyone. So we're just going to see what we end up getting from my team here. I'm just going to see when they're done editing what we'll have to bring against the, let's see, we've got Internet Explorer. They've been on the games we play a little bit now and then. 8 Ball from last game. My Hands, Your Bones with the Battleship, I believe it was, and then 8 Ball was running that lovely Gale spam in that, so. Aorta is a larger map. I do kind of like playing the flank on this map here, so I've got some CLs. I'm trying to organize my fleets a little bit better. I've got the Astolfo, Felix, and Crim combo here, so I could run some CLs and try and sniff around the flank and see if I can't punish the enemy's natural cap and then try and get some good positions, force them out of cover. Alternatively, I could decide to be the front line, just dedicated myself to playing 2 Axfords here. I do have a battleship that is, I've dubbed the Sillimon because it is rather silly. I'm not the best battleship player. I don't particularly like the hull because the cheek mounts are not great on it, and I do find I'm also just investing too much into a singular hull that can't quite project itself across the space that I want. I much prefer the pair of Axfords since I have the opportunity to split them off, and their PD mounting is better, and just overall, I personally think that the heavy cruiser is better than the battleship, because with a battleship, you're spending a lot of points just for the hull itself, and then like throwing pretty much all your eggs into one basket there. Cheap battleships I have seen work quite well. But, oop. Hello. Need to see what we got here. I was planning on doing this, but I can pick whatever. They're telling me to ready up, but Hands Bones is the one who's in the editor. Ugh. Alright, let's take a look. What do we have here? So, given I'm assuming that's going to be Gale spam, I'm going to play an ANS cap fleet then, something we saw earlier on. So, I'm just kind of being Cap Boy today instead of Cat Boy, so. Yeah. I'm betting that it's going to be the Gale spam we saw last time. We've got, let's see, missile launch platform there. A lot of Gales. Okay, you know what? We're going to try it. We'll see how well this goes. So, this is entirely likely to go the same way that we did last game, where I get a little overconfident with some of my stuff. I push an angle I'm not supposed to, and then I end up losing quite a few things. But at the same time, I'm fairly confident in my teammates and their ability to do weird, silly stuff. We saw the 3K flak check last game, and Hands Bones had that battleship that had a nice little push around that ended up shooting up my mass driver liner quite a bit. So, let's see what we got. Yeah. As for, I believe it was Big Ten, they had, I think, an Axford and stuff. So we've got a decent frontline presence. We've got a kind of flex pick as our 4th, which would be the missile dumping. And then it's just me who's supposed to look after the cap points. So I'm going to do that. Yeah. My goal for this is to park a beam destroyer in a place where I can hopefully cover the A point pretty well and deny anyone getting onto it. Once we get into the game, I'll show you kind of the layout of it. So, as you can see, this is aorta. It looks kind of like a heart, as in like the heart organ that you have in you. It's got these different valves and stuff for the different chambers that your blood and tubes and stuff are supposed to hook up to in that. So, see, the A point is going to be neutral, D point and the E point going to us, B point and C point going to the enemy. So we're going to have to try and accommodate for that. We've got some situational awareness assets. This is kind of a coffee-themed fleet, as you can tell here. I've got the lovely Cappuccino, the mainstay of the fleet. Originally, this was 10 corvettes, but I've since refined it a little bit from there. I'm going to send the cream and sugar around the outside like so to give us the best situational awareness possible. I want to scout out the enemy before they scout out me, ideally. The barista, I believe I can set up like about here to cover the A point, so we're going to do that. Then the red eye is going to be our little capper. After that, I've got 4 torpedo corvettes I'm going to send to various places. We'll send the lovely Cappuccino up to the D point, and then the Latte can go down to the E point. Then I've got these 2 as flexibles. So I think that I might be sneaky and send a torpedo corvette the long way around and see if I can't get a back cap in that way. And I think the Cortado can go up this way and see if I can't punish anything along that route. Normally, you don't get too much down this way, so I think I will actually send you around the top side, like so. There we are. Just assuming that this flank is going to be empty. It's possible they could be flanking around that way, but they will be out of the fight for a long enough time that I don't think it will matter. We're going to try and rush our little capper onto the A point first, and hopefully with our beamstone in place, we'll be able to take out whatever they put onto the point. The kind of initial coin flip for the central points like this, you saw it on Pillars, where they had a beamstone watching the point, and I had a mass driver liner watching that beamstone, and it's this interesting little mind game that you end up playing against each other. Gonna send our forces here as soon as we can.
Commander.
Zoom. This thing is fairly cheap. It's only got a little chaff launcher in the nose, a gun, and then just the basic point defense, because otherwise it is going to get missiled. That said, I might even skimp on the point defense there, because most people have not been running missiles on the OSP side very heavily, so kind of wanting to do that. The ideal gameplay style is to play as greedily as you can get away with. So, in this case, gonna be trying to see. So they got a flank moving along here. I kind of want to position my stuff to counter any light assets that are possibly around. I've got the 2 spyglass frigates going out here, like so. Latte is going to cap the point like so. And then I think I'll have the Cortado just come up here and try and hold itself on this flank. That is everyone moving. They all are under their command and assets are deployed. So yeah, that's how we're going to do it. I'm going to set a what I call ghost fire order, where basically I order my ship to fire on a position with the hold fire order in its shoot. That way the ship will point its nose there as it's ready to fire, and when I get an actual shot I want to shoot at, then I can issue the fire order, and it's basically right there, and I don't have to worry about the heading command being a little bit funky sometimes. Because when you move, the heading command is locked onto the sphere around the ship, so if I order the ship to have heading towards the point right now, and it moves, like, say, all the way over here-ish, for example, it's still going to be pointed that direction. Instead, with the fire order command issued like that, now I've guaranteed that the ship is going to fire on that fixed point in space. So that's the intention anyways. We're going to be doing a little bit of scouting out here, because this is, again, a fleet that is meant to catch the enemy by surprise. We want to do that to them, so we're going to order our ships to just kind of flank around the top like so. Now, our spyglass frigates have, I believe, a pinard. Yes, they do have a pinard. I was smart enough to include that. So if the enemy has a long-range early warning radar, then I will be able to detect that thing's emissions up to 125% of the maximum range of that. So it's got an 18-kilometer range, so that plus 25%, math, I want to say it's an extra 4.5 kilometers, give or take. So the 18 plus 4.5, so that's like, what, 22.5 kilometers away, I'll be able to see an early warning radar. So that's the intention anyways. We're going to try and get our awareness assets. See them talking about this being a rail map, and to an extent, yes, it's not uncommon to see railguns parked, like, say, up along this area out here, trying to kind of hang out in the emptiness of space here and cover the A point, but that's it. We are making our way over here towards the A. So we're not quite close enough there, so we need to move in a little closer. We're going to hide along this rock here, ideally. Have a long little, I don't know what you'd call this. I was going to say like a pillar, but it's sideways. I guess there's no up in space, so it is kind of a pillar. Everything is pillars all the way down. See, we've got a little flanking asset here. Not sure who. I believe that is the deception module. That's very funny. The deception module is something I love because it makes your ship identify as a different type of ship. So you're able to kind of confuse the enemy. In this case, we see a target here, so we're going to order the beam cannon to fire on that in a second. This was the intended goal of our beamstone here. Let's see what we got going. You are going to burn through. I believe that, yep, so they are jamming us here, which is rather unfortunate. I don't have anything to lock that, unfortunately. But that is quite the rate of fire. What do you got on that? That is rather annoying. Ow. Swap over to high explosive and see what we can do. Wow, that's a lot of fire. Oh, that is a bulk freighter. Okay, yep, not happening. Ag. So we have a lock on this thing, and we're just going to play off of that. It's going to zoom onto the point, and as soon as we get a shot, we are going to take it. Zap! So this will deny the enemy decap. Come on, burn. There we go. We're going to order you to hold fire since that ship is thoroughly dead and disappear like so. And yeah, that is the denial issued. We have missiles inbound in return for that, so whatever.
Go ahead,
So act CMD, we can evade like so. And try and get ourselves in position now. The ACAP has been denied, so that is good for us. The Cortado is going to move up a little bit. As for you, I need you to get over here sooner rather than later. We're going to move the latte up as well. We've gotten our various assets into place. We're going to have you be threatening on this angle. As for you, that is in fact a line ship there, which is rather annoying. That's a decoy container. We're going to mark that as killed, not a threat. Those are some size 2 missiles. Why are you... What the heck?
The enemy has buzzers.
Okay, I don't know why you drifted over that way. That's odd. So that thing is unfortunately going to die here. There's nothing I can really do about that. I ordered it to this side. It must have had enough momentum that it just drifted by, so that's rather unfortunate. Going to order the beam to, again, stay fixed on the A point here. We just want to keep ourselves hidden. There we are. So this way, the enemy does not have a way of getting onto the point. We've denied them. Gale spam is going out onto target there. Let's take a look around the map. Ooh, crap. Hi there. Hello, you. So unfortunately, a multi-mission tug has found us before we found it. So we need to quickly counter-rotate onto that. Like so. I'm going to give it a fire order. I got preoccupied looking at everything else. So we're going to have our ship go out after them. So we don't unfortunately have anything that can reach them. Our drumstick missiles are just not quite far enough. We need to get at 4.7 kilometers, and that will be enough. And have you go up here, actually, so we might be able to get that. Fortunately, I don't see the mass drivers anywhere. That said, we are certainly feeling the pain here. Owie. So we're just going to try and get into cover. We have not actually lost anything, which is very surprising. We did lose the pinard, which kind of sucks, and the radar panel, but nothing mission critical. So we're now going to ideally get into range of this thing. They do see us here, which is rather unfortunate. We need to close with this thing as fast as possible and ideally get some shots into it. We're going to start firing high explosive against it because I believe we are at close enough range. The Americano is now going to double back over here and ideally fire against that. All right, let's see what you got. I'm going to start preemptively popping chaff here in the assumption that I have missiles inbound as they were chaffing me. Yep, there we go.
Holding here.
I'm going to order this thing to stop. These should be CMD. Yep, so there goes our anti-missile missiles. We are hopefully going to shoot down these incoming. Yep, missiles out. Come on, Defender, do your thing. Oops, unfortunately, we do take a hit there. So that is going to heavily limit our ability to get on them. That said, the flank is good, and we are out on target. Let's go, baby. Woohoo! We are pinching this thing in here, and it is about to get heavily punished. Yeah.
Copy that. Moving.
Good times. So, unfortunately, Cortado here taking a lot of hits. That said, we should be able to fire 2 drumsticks onto target now. Launch, 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 launch. You are good to go. See, our main engine has unfortunately been hit heavily. Ooh, that's not good. Okay, yep. We're just going to dump the mag. If we could. Okay, yep. Fix that thing, please. Oh, what? Oh, I have fishtails. Oh, I'm an idiot. I could have hit this thing way sooner. I didn't realize I had size 3 hybrid missiles. So this thing does not have any point defense, and it is going to get hit here in a second. Fortunately, that mass driver is going to spell a lot of problems for us, so we're going to signal an attack order onto that thing. Going to take a look over on the A point. Yep, again, still neutral. We're holding that well there. The spyglass here will get itself fixed in a bit. We're going to have you rotate over down low this way. You can see the enemy is approaching there. Going to have you just kind of hanging out here. Cappuccino is doing his job, being the point guard safely in the back. Going to have you be normal there. As for you, there's a tugboat coming our way. Hello, you. You are just going to get torped. Boop, boop. So they're trying to fire a single missile at us. We're going to not let them do that. Fire off the rounds. There we are.
Scopes out.
So, missiles should work. I ordered the Hodge fire. There we are. Yeah, these are home on jam secondaries, I believe, so they should lock right onto their jamming source and then spell disaster for them. We have unfortunately drifted too far here, and we need to quickly get back into cover. And see it? You can't jam this one. You do not have enough point defense. They're trying to shoot us, but that is not going to go well in a second. Kalonk. So that should be their systems knocked out in a second. We are going to attempt to fire on position here with another drumstick, like so. There we are. Should be good there. Fire for effect. 1, 2, 3. Yippee! Missiles out. You are still alive. That is rather annoying. Okay. Are you in range? You are not in range. Okay. We're going to just fire one of these off then. Boop.
Missile out.
Okay, quickly rotate around like so. Yeah, drumstick missile might be good, might not. I think their jammer deactivated. They're probably firing on my track, so that's rather unfortunate. So we are trying to clean up shop wherever we can. Spyglass frigate is able to keep itself working here. See that there's a shuttle going out there. So we got quite a bit of stuff around that corner. We don't have enough to counter that, I think. That's rather unfortunate. We might be able to get a shot at them. Not confident about that. Okay, we're just going to hide instead. So as for you, there's a track going down below there. That might be a decoy. It might not be. There's the entirely real possibility that that is actually a ship. We'll find out in a second. Cappuccino is going to quickly rotate and counter that. Oop. Okay, various assets are getting clapped right now. That's not great for us. You need to not be there. I am very surprised you are still alive. Okay, would you kindly fishtail fire on this vector here, please? Thank you. Should be enough to catch it. Ideally, that will then lock onto this thing and shoot it down. The fishtail is a very nice size 3 hybrid missile. It's a quick little... it's just ARAD act, so it's pretty simple in terms of design, but it is a quote-unquote insta-stage. Insta-stage being the factor I gave it the fast programming thing, so it's really easy to launch out, and then it should stage very quickly and hit the enemy. It might have gotten shot down by that. Ooh, are you real? I don't believe that you are real. That said, it could be operating with radars off. I'm pretty sure it's a decoy. It doesn't make much sense where it's going right now, but I am just... I don't believe it. Yep. Okay, ow. So, missile unfortunately goes down. It misses. See ourselves kind of getting wrecked here. Not much we can really do. My assets over here getting shot up a whole bunch. Owie, owie, owie. Ag! Okay, we're going to have to try and go for a torp run here and see if we can't clean something up. Maybe if I go over the rock and keep my angle good, I'll be able to, you know, honestly, it's quite a bit of firepower there. I don't think I'll be able to do much against that either way. We're just going to have to try and evade them. So you see our Spyglass frigate's getting cleaned up here. I'm confident that is not real. We're going to pulse fire it just in case. Yep, I was confident it was not real, and it was not. That said, we are going to keep defending the 8 point with what we can. Oh, crap, I just realized that they are actually on it. Okay, that is less than stellar. I am very taxed this game. My awareness is suffering. Owie. Lesson learned, kids. Don't stream and cap fleet, because, yeah, I have very little brain to work for right now. All right. See, unfortunately, 8-Ball's flank here kind of getting wrecked. They probably scouted it out earlier on, and yeah, they just didn't have the engagement angle. They have seen what is coming, and they're now punishing it, unfortunately. So, as the kind of reality we got, trying to threaten their stuff with whatever I got. We know that there is enemies like right around here, so we're going to marker that as warning. Hands Bones trying to hold over here. Fortunately, we do not manage to guard the 8 point, but we should be able to see whatever capped it, I think, right? Well, where is the... Act? No, don't shoot, idiot. Hold fire, hold fire. Okay, that was kind of weird, but alright. Anyways, I don't know what capped the 8 point, because I should see it right now. And I don't. There you are. There you are. Okay, that is it. You are good to fire on target. You may fire when ready. So we see a couple of other little things here.
We're on our way.
Might be able to hit that with the insta-stage if I'm good. I can try some RPF on it.
Understood.
We are down to only a few assets left now, so unfortunately not great for us. I don't have any more things I can really hit you with, so we're just going to have to go for it. Screw it.
Aye, aye. Full power.
Yo!
We hear you, command. Rounds
So,
incoming.
we have tucked ourselves in a nice little alcove here, and they don't see us. Let's see. How good is your point defense? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 50 Bulfers. Do they have PD? They do have PD, so unfortunately won't really be able to do much about that. There is a shuttle hiding back there. Still, I don't think they'll be able to counter us if we're good on our push here. Nope. These are going to hurt in a second. Let's just pop all the chaff that we can here. So let's see. ARAD act. Yep, just going to turn off our radars in return for that. Pop out a bunch of these. You see these all going after our stuff here instead. Unfortunately, these are Wake Seeker, not Wake Validator. So, rather sad for them, but I think I should evade all incoming stuff here. I'm just going to pop all the chaff that I can. You see a couple of them trying to loop around onto me, but they are not having it. So we're just going to quickly change our position and stuff. Also ordering our ship to hold still. Well, these all will orbit around us. There we go. They should run out of fuel shortly. Oh, crap. We lost our missile launcher. We need to get that back online real quick.
At the ready, Commander.
Yeah.
On the way, Commander.
All right. What can we do is a good question. So, yeah. Fortunately, I don't think that they're going to hit us.
The ship's
Oh,
damaged.
crap. There's mass drivers, right.
Change
Right,
your
there's
position.
mass drivers, of course. How silly of me.
Take it to 'em.
Should have thought about that, but
Shots
never
up.
mind. Just realized why charging across here wasn't going to work. There was something in the back of my mind that said, that's not going to go well for you, bud. Little did I know.
Understood.
We lost
We're
a
on
module.
route.
So we're going to try and get down here. Should be able to make it to here. Let's see, what do you got? You have just gun. Okay, I can take you out with an insta-stage, I
Command on the
believe.
line.
Just need to get around the rock like so.
Commander,
And then
we've
get onto
lost
the
a
point.
module.
I don't think that we're going to be able to cap much here. I might be playing a little too aggressively here.
We're not receiving power.
So we lost our front line there. The gunfight is kind of going off down here. These bulk freighters shouldn't be able to focus on us very long. If they are firing 450 at us instead of the battleship, that's their loss because the battleship is the major threat that they need to deal with there.
They're locking onto us,
Command
Commander.
on the line.
Let's see. Yeah, they're just kind of going after us. Okay. God damn it. I hate how fragile the counter launcher is.
Be out of missiles.
All right. So
Out
the
with
Americano has unfortunately gotten wrecked up top before I can clean up those tugboats.
We're ready
Hello,
to
you.
move.
You need to not be there. Fire missiles,
Copy
please.
that.
Thank you.
Deploying missile.
Drive repaired.
We're
Let's
on
go.
our
Yeah, I need to do something with this intel because I am
What can
not.
we do for you,
Okay, this is
Commander?
gonna hurt in a second here.
We'll
Pop
get it
chaff,
done.
pop chaff. Hope for
Reactor
the
power
best.
is depleting.
Owie, owie. Yep. Damn, they're just covering every angle, and I don't have a shot. I've split too much of my attention in this game, so they've done a good job in taxing that, cleaning up my various assets. So, yeah, unfortunately, we're probably going to go down here. I don't think there's much I can really do. I just made a bunch of mistakes that they correctly punished and whatnot.
Back up.
Yeah, can't really do much besides try and keep this thing alive here. Just try and
All
fix...
hands,
Nah,
abandon ship.
can't actually fix it, damn it. All right, I think we're just going to be knocked out of this game, so that's going to be that. Fire RPF if you got it. Radar is down. Crap. Okay, yeah, mass drive is going to punish us. I just can't do anything in this game. Unfortunately, getting countered is a thing that happens. I set myself up for a lot of those counters to hit me. They played very well counter-rotating and doing the counter moves to what we were planning on doing. So I got a little bit reckless as well, just revealing too many of my assets early. This is part of the problem with me playing cap fleets. I get a little overexcited and decide I want to push before it is the appropriate time. So they know how to correctly move against that. For example, they're just trimming all of my stuff now. I probably should have waited until more of the frontline fight had happened, but I felt the need with us losing on the caps to do something about it. And unfortunately, just not really much I could do. So, yeah. Frontline players are doing their jobs. They're holding the enemy at bay, but I was not able to deny the A-cap, which put us on the back foot. So then, unfortunately, we just kind of see all of my assets getting cleaned up now. So, because I still have a beamstone, I am going to stay in the game rather than just, be salty, rage quit, all that kind of stuff. I misplayed, and I accept that. So, it happens. I just have to realize what I did wrong, what I can do better from that, and then move from there. So, we're going to order a fire order again onto the A point to try and keep myself facing that direction. I can't really do anything, and they know it, because they've just cleaned up pretty much our entire cap fleet. They took out our Gale Spam fleet here, unfortunately. Part of that may have been because they had scouting assets that scouted it out early. It may have also been my mistake sending one of my sprinters ahead as a scout there, because then they were aware of this flank being a thing. So that said, I'm pretty sure they had tugs just kind of like scouting around here anyways, so they seem to know what they were doing. Battleship moving up now, trying to get aggressive, but mass drivers unfortunately just going to keep it suppressed while the 450 tears into it from different angles here. See a whole bunch of their various missiles and containers and stuff. I believe they had double support fleet, which means, yeah, they would have had a container liner and then mass driver fleet as well, because it looked like there was, I think, 2 mass driver liners somewhere out there. Couldn't see from where, but... All right, we're going to quickly burn through, see if we can't spot anything. Unfortunately, that is the tug there. Not much we can really do about that. I guess we can try and move to defend D point, but I don't really think that's going to work because they're just going to find an angle to push us. So we're going to try it anyways and see if we can't do something about it. Ideally, they won't be able to cap it. We're going to order our fire order to be towards the D point then, because I'm assuming there's a bulk freighter going this way. So, yep. Oh well.
Heads up, they're being acknowledged.
And now jamming us. So yeah, very good counterplay. I believe that was Internet Explorer's tag, the IE3, that was the cap fleet that kind of got our assets there. I need to change around this fleet because the little 120 mil guns are just, unfortunately, not really doing anything for me. I think that the way that I'm going to do these is I'm going to change around my... these ones. Yeah, so if you see, it's got the little pop gun in the nose, and I do like the gun, although just, like, by the numbers, it doesn't seem to perform well enough. So I think I'll take the VLS from the side here, put it in the nose. That way I can fire both the torpedoes and the little size 1 missiles, giving me more offensive output in that style. Then I can run a pair of defenders, which makes so I don't have to worry about which angle the defender is on currently. So yeah, I think that's going to be a change I'll make. Maybe I'll do that on stream. Maybe I'll do that off stream. I'm not entirely sure quite yet. Just going to try and get myself over towards the D point. They don't know that there's nothing over here, but oh well. I see a bunch of these. ARAD act with the Wake. Should be Wake Validator, not a Wake Seeker on those containers, because if it's a Wake Validator, then the Active Seeker and the ARAD, they'll be able to discriminate whether chaff is a target that you'll go after or not. So in that case, we saw I was able to pop chaff up here. Where's my Corvette? I believe it was the Americano that got. Yeah, so it had pop chaff, and all the containers were seduced by that chaff. If you have a Wake Validator, that solves that problem, and you're able to get consistent missile hits on stuff, discriminating which one is like an actual target and which one is not, particularly when it is moving. Okay, so we are taking fire, unfortunately. Yep, I was afraid this might happen, so we need to quickly dip into cover and try and hug this rock. Yeah, all the high explosive rounds coming off here. That said, they are almost within beam range, but we need to really dive like yesterday. Owie.
Send traffic.
Yeah. Crap. I'm going to orient towards that and also issue a fire order if I can. Just trying to find cover here. I was afraid this would happen, and, well, unfortunately, my fears have been realized. Our DC team's going to have to work overtime, so we're going to cancel the flank speed. We have managed to get into cover now, so we're just going to try and hug up here. See a couple of containers for our trouble. Owie. Nope. No, crap. Woo, okay. Thankfully, those containers did not have enough Gs to pull off there, so we're just going to quickly order ourselves to halt. We're going to turn off of our radar and track and stuff. Ah, crap. Well, the good news is that we are able to pop enough chaff here that those containers are all going to miss. The bad news is that there is something else over there, just like we expected, so that's unfortunate. All right, radar's back on, please. We can't even see them. Crap. Why can't we not see them? That's rather annoying. Gonna try and burn towards that as one last final hurrah. I don't think it's gonna happen. You know what? We might be able to actually get that bulk freighter if we go for a sprint on it. I don't expect it to happen, but you know what? At this time, I don't really have much else I can do in this game. I think I may have thrown it slightly there just because I let my assets get cleaned up too well, and our frontline players are unfortunately just now relegated to having pretty much like one ship about each, and they're just trying to win a gunfight here, and they don't have anyone able to go for the cap assets. I should have been more patient and waited for them to develop more of that, and then just played around that, but unfortunately, too much of the kind of, hey, I want to be doing something, I want to be moving ship around, when the right move is to be patient and just wait for things to develop. You see me getting bracketed in here now as they're trying to just fire on my track. They don't have a great lock. You can tell this by a lot of the shots missing. Most likely a Bulwark Huntress with adaptive radar receiver. Very good for sniffing out scouts, but not great for getting fireable track orders on. So, one of them up there. We're going to order a lock on. Going to try and keep awareness here. Yeah, I've managed to fail at guarding both points with my destroyer. I probably should have set this thing up to go to the D point. That way it punishes anyone going for the push there. I can then try and use my shuttles and things to get there. Yeah. Don't have great hopes for my success here. Gonna try and order for the like slight beam shot we might get here. I'm not super confident though. Magazine fire going off. Oop, owie. Yeah. Unfortunately, we're just losing more and more stuff here as we're just gonna get pecked away by 100 mil, and there's not really anything I can do about it. So, oh well, hindsight.
Understood.
Just gonna see if I can't eventually get this thing onto target. Magazine might cook off here, it might not. We will see. We got 30 seconds. There's nothing I can actually do besides just tell them to fix it. Should be a fix there. There we go. Magazine fires nice and easy to put out for the moment. Let's see. Can we lock onto that strobe? Yes, no, maybe so. Just gonna try and orient ourselves like that. If you would be so kind as to burn through so we can track that. Lock, please. Thank you. Fortunately, they're just a little too far out from us. Yeah, they realize it now. They are too close, and there's not much we can really do about that. That said, luckily, though, some of our teammates are actually cleaning up shop over here. One of the bulk freighters does go down. The other one is trading fire with the battleship, but the battleship is bow on, not really going to care about those armor-piercing rounds. Even though they are not aimed armor-piercing, they are not as good as you would expect against armor. So, yeah, we just can't really do anything here. I do not like the feeling of being helpless. It's why I always try and have some asset that I can pull out of my sleeve. Although in this case, I think I just played my hand too soon, and, well, my situational awareness was lacking, so made a bunch of mistakes, and they punished me well, so credit to them. Yeah.
Component destroyed. Force laid in. Component destroyed.
Let's see. Can they get the C point here? I believe they'll be able to. I think the shuttle is still armed. That was another mistake I made, not making a good use of my various assets. I had Insta-Stage Size 3 hybrid missiles, which should get past a point defense turrets such as the Pavis here. You see the nice little double-barreled defender that it is. Yeah, until, yep, this thing is just going to get shredded now. Yeah, it's a 450 bulker that I can't see. There's nothing I can do at this point. I'm unfortunately out of the game, so. Just going to tell my teammates, sorry, I'm out. Unfortunately, kind of blew that one a little bit. Don't cap and drive, kids. Or don't cap and stream, something like that. So, I don't see us really getting this game back. It's unfortunate. I do think that I kind of blew it being too aggressive, like I said. That said, our frontline players had quite a bit to contend with. I think that if we had been a little more patient and gotten our frontline engaged at a better time and then pulled our flank overload with the Gale spam, then it would have worked a lot better. Unfortunately, they had containers and mass drivers that were ready to punish this kind of build. I don't believe that they have much point defense. They've got a little point defense in here, like a defender or two, but with the containers I saw flying, I don't think that like a pair or two of defenders is really... Oh, that one doesn't even exist anymore. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, defenders can shoot down containers like flying directly at you, but that's like 3-ish defenders, and there's a whole container liner ready to throw a lot of stuff. Ooh, it's got a cat tag. I like that. So, also a bunch of missiles coming out here. These are support containers called the Clone. Support containers very good as they're able to kind of multiply the support module given to them, so you can get a whole lot of decoys in those. Typically, you'll see like 2 support containers in a volley able to spew decoys or use self-screening jammers or something like that. That way you can get a nice seeker combo for the rest of your volley going in here. You see the spam containers following them up decently well. These are actually going a little faster than the main volley, which might be a bit of an issue. See a bunch of decoys trying to be shed there. I think they fired on the wrong position. You can see most of these probably angling to hit something that is not there anymore. Now their locks actually activate, and they're trying to get out to this thing, but the point defense of the Axford shooting down most of these defenders, trying at the last second to shred them. Should probably clean up house here. Yeah, looks like they just managed to snake most of that volley into the rock or just otherwise get shot down. That said, now they're forced to fight against a tugboat. Not exactly the best case scenario here, so oh well. No. I was gonna say, I think it might be game because I don't know necessarily if we'll be able to, like, given the massive point lead they have established, I don't think we'll be able to get enough points to cap out in time. I don't see anything we can really do to get the D point or B point. Yep. So, unfortunately, it is just Big 10 now with the remainder of the fleet here, so that's going to be it. There's not much we can really do about that, so unfortunate, but oh well. Just going to see the last bit of this. Give him an old salute for good luck on that. Yeah, so unfortunate, but hey, if you make mistakes and the enemy capitalizes on it, that's good play by them. Internet Explorer had a bunch of these little tugs going around the map, able to find my assets and shoot them down, which is the right play to make. These do not have a Pavis on them, which means that if I could get in torpedo range, these would most likely die. I did have the torpedo counter. That said, when I tried to rush them for torpedoes, I got hit by a combination of containers and mass drivers, so very good supporting assets on their team. I think that in my case, I just was, again, too greedy, and I did not correctly respect the kind of game plan. Should have waited for my capital assets to engage a lot more of the enemy fleet, kind of win some of that fight, and then we pull back the caps. I just saw that we were down on a cap, and something in my brain said, yes, let's go recklessly charge into the enemy about that. So, I think that I'm actually just going to retire out here and exit back to the main menu, because I don't see us winning that one. Yeah, if we take a look, they had container liner here. I believe Internet Explorer... That might have been the mass driver liner, actually. I thought that they had 2 of them. Might have just been 1. In this case, that would be very much like the fleet that I was running on the OSP side. So a couple of tugs there for situational awareness and also cleanup. See pretty good damage coming out of that. They had a fleet of, I think this was 3 450 bulk freighters. Some of them ended up losing to the battleship. Battleship's respectable firepower in that. They had, let's see, a Cello. This was probably the T-30. Maybe that was a mass driver. That's a lot of damage it got, so... Entirely possible that is the mass driver. They could have had 2 of them. I know they had a T-30 bulker in there somewhere that shredded me, so maybe that was this one after all. Oh well. We saw what we got. I'm not particularly happy with my performance that game. I ended up not doing a lot of damage, not really getting a whole bunch of caps. I need to be more patient and aware of the situation. Although my situational awareness assets did get knocked out very fast, so I need to position those a little better. I haven't done too much cap fleeting on ANS side. Played a little more on the OSP side since I do kind of like shuttles. They're fun. That said, I think I still have time for one last game today, so I'm gonna go ahead, run another one of those little intermission ads so nobody gets a ad in the middle of their gameplay and stuff, because I would ideally not run ads, but again, Twitch kind of forces you to do that if you want to have any of the bells and whistles and stuff. So we're gonna take a little 3-minute intermission here, and we'll be right back afterwards. Yeah, I'll see you then. Alrighty, chat, we are back in business. Adapting to my somewhat smooth brain now, I'm going to be running a simpler fleet. I've decided to go OSP again, since trying to flip-flop back and forth, get myself some variety content. I've decided to go for a nice little combo of 250mm liners. I'm actually going to pull these up in the fleet editor so you can see. So, as you can see, I've got some container stacks on the back. These add extra HP to the ship, 200 hit points here, so if a shot comes in and like blows up in here, and it splashes all these components, it will actually divide its damage evenly if it's high explosive, so this is a good way of keeping my guns more alive, because it means a bunch of damage is not going into them, it's instead going into the stack launchers, of which only one of them I bothered filling with stuff. So my plan is to have a pair of 250mm liners. In this case, I've got an extra little gun on the back here, a C-53 compared to the bigger C-56. So 2 of these makes up the bulk of the fleet's firepower in that. Apparently I've got an error, never mind, we'll just get rid of that. And then lastly, I've got the Swordfish here, which is a fun little asset I've been adding into my fleets. It's a plasma turret liner. So in this case, it's got 8 plasma turrets. For the most part, this thing is just like bare naked necessities that I have. I've got a CIC, a reinforced locker, and then pretty much just rapids and a plant control across it, so I have enough power. Plasma is kind of an energy weapon, so it does take a lot of juice. We've got some rapid cycle cradle, so this thing bursts incredibly quick. I believe I have the mod that shows the effective fire rate. So yeah, you can see my plasma cannons here. They get a very high increase to their RPMs, although mainly what I'm going for is reducing the recycle time. So this thing is able to spew out 64 shots of plasma, which is enough to strip pretty much any ship in the game. The idea being that I roll this thing around a corner, dump a whole bunch of plasma, and then I'm able to fire 250 high explosive shells into the opened up ship. It's kind of my can opener technique for bringing down the big ANS capitals. Decided after seeing how my cap game was not going great, I wanted to do a little bit of the kind of frontlining aggression, so I figured, hey, why not do it? CER's team has quite a few of the rocket shuttles and stuff around there, so I like it. A bunch of people in here now that I played with before, so hopefully it'll be a good game. Internet Explorer wrecked me pretty good last game, so yeah, I'm gonna give him credit for that. And type and talk at the same time. Give him credit where credit is due. Again, your enemy becomes your friend in the next game, so hey, good to be respectful and sportsmanship, even though a bunch of my fleets are designed to annoy and tax the enemy's patience. In that case, my patience was thoroughly taxed, so they did a good job against me. Yeah, we're just waiting for Leviathan to ready up now, and yeah, should be good. We're going on Broken Bloodlines, which aesthetically is a map I think is quite cool. It looks like a big old rodent skull in space. So, I mean, hey, skulls are neat, so why not put a few of them out there? Yeah. There is a map coming out soonish. Actually, I think it is released right now. It's called Ruby Shelf. I've talked to the guy who made it, a fellow by the name of Banana, if I recall correctly. And I'm really hoping that that one gets a couple more tweaks and balance passes, because he seems pretty happy about it. And it's a neat little red map, and I like seeing new maps get added to the game, because it means that there's just more stuff you can play on, more variety, and different things you can learn. It keeps the sort of different like builds you get from keeping static. Like, a lot of people have their builds specifically tailored to pillars because it is the Dust 2 of Nebulous, and you'll see most fleets end up on that map at some point or other. But seeing different maps like this with a little bit different angles, you can show that certain tools that you bring specifically for one map are not suited for the other. So you get different per map metas, and it keeps things fresh. In this case, we're looking to pick a fight at about 8 kilometers or so. I think that I might decide to swing wide around here, try and fight for the B or the E point. If I go up here, it'll get me onto the E point, and that can probably make that cross over here. I know I've run a pair of Axfords up here, which is kind of the prey that I'm hunting this game. So we're going to see if we can't get that done. Oop, trying to find a deploy spot here. Looks like we got a bunch of people going that side as well. Can't get anywhere with this. We can deploy up top and then cross over, I believe. So our plan is to hopefully strip something apart with our plasma and then follow up with our 250s, and that should be good. C point here, one of the neutral contested points, along with the D point. Usually you'll see a nice little fight on the underside. I could play that underside fight, but I think that might be overcommitting to it. So I want to kind of play more on this side and then go for the wide flank around there. So we'll see how that goes. Got a bunch of assets deploying around the place. So with any luck, we'll be able to group up with some of our allies, and they'll be able to take advantage of our plasma as well. Plasma being a very useful asset, because you can't really undo plasma damage. Armor strip is a thing that just kind of happens with it, and while you can repair components, especially with the Axford has an incredibly good repair rate. Okay, not technically repair rate, but repair maximum. It's slightly different. It just means that you can basically fix the components better than you would be able to on any other hull. On most other hulls, you take the lowest amount the opponents have been damaged. Like, let's say you knock a component down to 50%. You can then repair it about 10% more than that, so you get up to 60%. The Axford has a plus 15% modifier. So instead of being able to repair 10% of the damage, you're able to repair 25%. So it's very hard to keep an Axford down. They can fix a lot of their stuff. We see a big drive flare over there, a couple smaller ones over there. So we know that is probably a battleship. So just going to signal that to enemy marker. There we are. Just going to call that out to the team there. Yeah. Oh, big sippy. All right, Blue, I'll take a big sip of you. Need to refill my water bottle. Almost out of big sippies. Anyways, Blue, how you doing today? Welcome to Silly Spaceship Action. We're just getting into a game. It's going okay. I've been very busy lately, so I haven't had time to do a bunch of streaming, much to my kind of annoyance. I do enjoy streaming, although I just have not had the time lately, so we're getting back into it now, so to speak. Just kind of getting our fleet organized and oriented now. We've got 3 bulk freighters here. Formerly, these were meant for shipping bulk goods, as the name bulk freighter implies, but they've been retrofitted into combat vessels, so we're just going to move them up to this point here, order the thrusters to go flank speed so we can get there fast. Got a couple of little light scouting assets and whatnot, trying to get a lock on stuff there. I'm betting that that is a battleship here. Doing pretty good. Been busy yourself? Have a lot going this way? Yeah, I feel that. So, in my case, I tried to find time to do some streams, and it just ended up not falling through. Like, basically from, I want to say, like, last Friday onwards, just everyone was either busy, and then I got to like take over a few things there, which made me busy, or just some scheduling things didn't line up. So, yeah. That said, hopefully bringing out more content this week. So, yeah, should be fun. Yep, we see there is in fact a battleship there. The 1-2 BB. If I had to bet, I think that they had, who was it? Yeah, I want to say My Hands Your Bones ran a battleship for the last like couple games. I'm betting that's it. Gotta call that out. Just thinking with my head here and whatnot. Oh, yep, I believe that is their tag. It doesn't show you their tag in the player list here. I kind of wish that it did. It shows you on the deploy screen, but well, I'm just gonna move ourselves up here into cover. They did not see us deploy, I don't think, but
Standing by.
You about to use trailer for a friend, so you've been doing work on it. Busy. Ah, nice. Yeah.
Standing by. We have secured zone
Let's see. Trying to move ourselves up into here. So I'm gonna have my secondary ship move its formation a little bit over. That way it's kind of tucking in here. So I've taken up this angle. I don't think that this is actually the angle I want to be at, so I'm gonna go around the rock like so. I'm gonna move the other ships in my fleet as well. See us popping some chaff there. Yep. Okay, so they have a little size 2 hybrid missile here. You can see it cruising off. And then I think... Nope, we lost visual. Okay, so that's why. They're talking about the different types of ammo in the game here. We've got our ships on hold fire, so we don't waste a bunch of shots. There we go. I have some decoy containers, which are going to be very useful for what I'm about to do. I'm going to try and come over this rock and send the decoy containers, because they most likely saw like us deploy there, and there's a chance that their scouting missile there might have seen us as well. Let's see, what do we got down here? Just a little Corvette firing off some missiles. Has a little pop gun on the belly, nice to see, and a bullseye, so this is probably a scouting asset for something else on their side. If I had to guess, that's most likely a scout for a rail fleet, just given the nature of it. That said, we haven't seen any rails yet, so no way to know for sure. Early warning radar is giving us a bunch of information here. Not sure what that is. I want to say that is the battleship. That is a battleship for sure. All right. So here is the plan. We are going to load armor-piercing rounds at first, and then kind of lock onto that area there. We're going to give it an attack marker in case we lose the track of it. I'm going to have you fire your shot here, like so. The idea being we're able to come over the top here and then dump a whole bunch of fire into it, and then hopefully we'll be able to take down the battleship. Battleships are notoriously hard to kill, but we should be able to get some stuff done. Gonna try and get my fleet to not run into itself here, so just gonna hold a little bit here. They have multiple battleships. Okay, gonna mark those as priority targets. Don't want to overuse the priority marker, but it is a priority target, so we're going to call it like we see them. In this case, I'm issuing what I call ghost fire orders, where I basically pick the point in space I want all my guns to focus on, and then our ships will orient correctly to account for that. Try and move ourselves up now. In this case, our ships having to do a little bit of silly roll shenanigans as we try and get ourselves around the rock. Unfortunately, my anti-missiles just going right into a rock there. So we see that there is a couple light little things around this place, but we should be all right. As we are currently. See, number 2, you're going to just get in behind you a little bit here, like so, I think there. Why are you moving like that? That's rather odd. Okay. We'll just try and orient ourselves in a second here. The swordfish trying to get itself into position. It might end up doing a little bit of bumper bulker here. We will see. Trying to get my stuff in position to engage. Unfortunately, you will be seen here, but that might actually be a good thing. Because if they see and identify that I am a bulk freighter and I send my decoys over the rock, they're going to unload a whole bunch of fire into those decoys instead of me. So,
awaiting orders, Commander.
We are in gun range now. That battleship thinks it is confident in its position there, but it is about to be corrected on that. We're going to just get ourselves moved up here and then have our plasma engage them first.
Moving.
Ideally. There we are.
Awaiting orders, Commander.
Try and orient ourselves more or less the way we want.
Standing by.
But we're going to have to hold up for a quick second, so I'm going to turn off the flank speed engines. That way we are able to get ourselves in position. Just set ourselves up accordingly. Now, I'm going to have to dive back into cover, so I'm actually going to set this thing's nose pointing downwards. That way it's able to move faster. This ship's going to be set to fire on position there in a second. Once we are correctly positioned, we will pop over the rock, just waiting for the rest of my fleet to catch up and resume I'll resume the formation that I gave them. You can just sit about a kilometer off there. That's
Formation.
fine.
Standing by.
They're being a little silly right now. Their lateral thruster's not the greatest. Why are you still going up top, please? Please don't do that. Engage flank thrusters. Please move back down. Thank you.
Moving to that position.
So, as long as they don't see us, this should be fine. They are engaging slightly on there, so I did not give you a lock radar, I don't believe. I should consider doing that. All right, so instead, we're going to have you move up like so. We're going to actually hold the firing order that we had issued before. We're going to fire off some of our decoy containers, like we had discussed. Idea being that we present them with a fake target that will then like jump out at them, and then do some silly maneuvering like so.
Missile on the
Should
way.
keep them fooled, ideally. Then we'll have you as well go out here to make them think twice about who they're shooting at.
Missile away.
There we are.
Force
All right, so
laid
you are orienting more or less correctly. Gonna have you move to
in.
here.
Clear now, Commander.
Thank you very, very much. These containers should finish programming in a second, and then we'll give the fire order over there. That way our containers have launched, and we are in position and ready to fire.
Awaiting
Yes.
orders, Commander.
All right, now that you are more or less where I want you to be, we're going to give you the fire order on that position again. We do have locks,
Firing
so
on
that
that
is
target.
good for us. I think that now is the time, actually, to go. Yep. Once you have launched your container, we will have our AP rounds
Missile
loaded
count
on
is
target.
low.
There we are.
Engaging.
Actually, I just realized I can fire those while hold fire is issued. That is cool. I did not know that. All right, we're going to have you lock on like so, and then you're going to fire your plasma purple burp here, and then get back into cover, just like that.
That position.
They should see a bunch of bulk freighters appear suddenly, and then think, oh no, that's a big problem. I should do something about that. Not realizing this one is real. Fire for effect. Get him. Fire. There we go. Mighty purple burp going out now, stripping off this thing's armor. We're going to execute the flank maneuver that we discussed before, trying to get this thing down into cover like that. There we are. Da.
Ready.
Okay. This thing has dumped all of its plasma. We're going to order it to cease fire and just dip right back down into cover, since that is the job done that we wanted. See this thing horribly splash. We're going to fire armor piercing because I don't know exactly if I got all of its armor or not.
That position.
Once we are locked onto target, we will be good for it.
Awaiting
Going to order them to lock as well. All right, you are good to fire. Fire. Up, bam. Yeah, a whole bunch of fire now coming out onto this battleship. It is in for a bad day here.
Send your traffic.
You know, honestly, I'm going to keep this thing oriented towards it because I can probably get a second plasma strike out. Whole bunch of size 2 hybrids going off there. Aha! Yes! See, this is why these things are so good. Look at that. We just seduced a huge missile volley there.
Traffic.
So we're now going to have you fire your plasma again on target because we got a really good lock. You are good to fire. You're going to dip down. Since you've also done all of your shots out, we want to switch over to the high explosives.
Engaging.
You see a whole bunch of these now, probably going after the various decoys and stuff. Nope, these are coming after us. I don't believe that we'll be able to stop the... Oop, okay, just pop chaff.
Under attack.
Ah! All right, so,
Ready.
yep, this is our plan to dip back down. We're going to cancel our locks on targets
Send
here.
traffic.
That way we should be able to seduce these missiles. Yep, there we go. I had to turn off my fire control radars. That's what I was missing. Anyways, now that you've successfully done that, you can head back up here. Just reset you in a second. This thing is already thoroughly plasmed everything, and these missiles... Yeah, okay, that's EO. Oop. Unfortunately, wasting a bunch of our point defense ammo into a rock here because our gunners are not the smartest cookies ever, but that missile should hopefully just go kabloop. Oh, wow.
Ready.
Credit to them. They threaded the needle on that one. That was a HEC-P missile able to take out one of our things there. Just going to try and restore a bunch of our systems.
Send your traffic.
So let's get back up over that rock. Our systems are back online and operational again. So you should... Honestly, I think that it's fine having your angle like that. We're just going to keep it that way. You're going to hold your fire order there. You lot are going to fire your high explosives here and have you hold fire until you get over the rock and get a lock.
Moving to that position.
Rock and lock kind of rhyme. Nice to hear. Have you also get your plasma ready. You'll be aiming with the little one. I've got a T-50 cannon, or T-50. I've got a C-53 turret on the back here, so it makes the whole bulk freighter aim nicely, and that way I don't have to massively, micro this thing.
Moving.
Excuse me. I told you to get over the rock, please, and thank you. Shoot, please.
Moving.
There you go.
Ready.
All right, so you are now able to fire. This battleship is in for a really, really bad time. See us very clustered up here, which is not ideal, but we are making it work.
Moving.
So, yep. In this case, we are focusing primarily on just winning this gunfight. A couple missiles flew our way, but we managed to effectively deal with them. Battleship here is just completely getting cooked on the sides. Unfortunately, they are out of our lock range, but with that said, this thing is not having a good time, and we've mostly handled this threat. If I had to guess, that's probably, at least 2,000 points that we've just managed to kind of combat neutralize. So we do have to start looking at what we can go after next. These keystones are a little bit outside of our engagement range, but we see a pair of Acellos here have pushed up, and while they are doing kind of ring around the rosy, they're also getting their flanks cleaned up nicely from that. So we'll worry about that when we have to. In the meantime, our goal is to just keep this thing suppressed here and mostly dead. Gonna fire the last volley of plasma I want into this thing, because I don't think that it's really worth us investing all that plasma now that this thing is pretty much guaranteed to be stripped out. I haven't seen anything else around the map suggesting a good viable target. They've probably seen this as a fake line ship and are not firing on it anymore. Yep, this thing just getting royally toasted. Hear the gush of plasma as it slams into the side. So we're going to have you now hold fire instead. You saw my face there on the side of my ships because I like my little emblem. A bunch of these beamstones trying to turn around to get target orientation. You see the monitor blob being sort of escorts. They're a little slower than the Acellos are, but they're able to come back over the rock now and clean up that flank. So we're handling these pretty well. Bunch of missile tracks going off down there. Rockets, actually. Ooh, hi there, you. That is a thing. I did not realize I had a sprinter down here. I don't believe you are alive. Okay, so we're going to say that one is killed. We're going to have you go down and cap that point, I believe. Nope, never mind. We have a E-capper. Thank you, little rocket shuttles and stuff, cleaning up shop for me. You are good to just stay there and lock target, I think. As for you, we're just going to pepper this thing with enough high explosives that it eventually will pop life pods.
Standing by.
I feel pretty confident advancing, but I don't want to without the support of my allies. So we're just going to see if we can't clean up shop a little bit on another target here. We're going to have you dive ever so slightly. You're going to keep going along with us here. Adjust your course and headings and whatnot. So I could have you fire your plasma again, but I don't think that's needed. So we're going to cancel the plasma fire orders. Instead, you can just fire off a couple of your little T50 rounds. Our goal is, I said it again, T50. It's 250 millimeter, and the turret is called a T81 plasma cannon. But instead, just going to chip away with what we got here. We're going to fire high explosive into you. We're going to lock onto that one. Yep, so this thing getting thoroughly shredded. Let's see if we can't burn through and lock onto you. I think I'll be able to. Nope, just unfortunately not enough radar return, so we're going to fire just the rest of our rounds into this thing while we can. There we are. I feel confident now advancing. You see the fleet over here has been pretty well handled. We are able to move up on this flank and engage the enemy there. Yeah. See there's sprinters pulling back desperately. If we're able to get close to this thing, we might be able to get a kill into it. That said, this thing is pretty much mission killed. The plasma burst is very good at peeling battleship armor. You know, I'm actually just going to give it a little more purple love because I think it might have some armor facing still. I don't know if it does, but we're just going to hit it. Pew, 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 pew. See now the enemy fleet over here. That is a trio of frigates, so that is a bit of a problem. I'm going to give an attack marker on those so I know roughly where they are. You see our tugs over here getting cleaned up. They're probably going to try and push onto this point. So part of me wants to just drive over there and get them, but at the same time, I don't know exactly what assets the enemy may have. We're going to make that move, though, assuming that that battleship is well enough handled. I've already paid my dues and paid my worth, so to speak, just cooking off a battleship here. The Big Papa is just having a bad day. I'm going to hold fire on that target, actually. You can see over here some brains. You know what? We need to intervene with that flank, so we're just going to order our ships to go, 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 and see if we can't get ourselves a good hit on them. We'll keep firing as we go, because it'll be a quick turn over there, but they've got a sprinter here on one side, and we have a shuttle on the other. Kind of a nice little divide here on the sea point, keeping it in a neutral state. So we're going to try and... we were going to try and see them. You can see that they are, in fact, over there. We just don't have a radar lock on them quite yet. So ordering our ships to flank speed will get us there pretty quick. I'm going to change our formation slightly to adjust for the new firing angles we'll be taking up. I can maybe get a shot on this one in a second. I think so. There we are. Yep, we're going to orient ourselves accordingly. We'll have to swing the nose a little bit, but that'll be fine. See our guns here trying to adjust accordingly. See, a whole bunch of their reins are taken up over here, but let's see. You are royally toasted and not too much of a threat right now. Yeah, it's not under command. It does not mean that it is dead, but it does mean that it is not contributing to the fight right now. So you see the reins here, realizing that big old counter to them is moving towards them. They're trying to get out of dodge. We are about to get a great shot into the sprinter, so we'll see if we can't do something pretty good here. Container stacks, unfortunately, are damaged. We'll invest a restore in getting our pinpoint radar back. It's a fragile module, but I think it is worth it right now. Gonna adjust our heading and whatnot as well, putting our guns to ceasefire there. So, should get a lock onto this thing.
Lock on warning.
Well, we actually have a lock, but we should get a fire order in a second. There we go. We finally have orientation. This thing should die momentarily, and that'll get us the C point. We are already ahead on cap, so
Send your traffic.
peppering this thing. Our accuracy not superb, as it is a small target, but we do have a pinpoint lock, so quite good fire control on us.
Orders, Commander.
We're going to push across here with what we got. There we go. That should be dead. We're going to change our fire order over onto these now. Should be in arc. Can't hear. Yep, there it is. That's the alarm sounding that that ship is in fact dead. Going to do change targets now, peppering this thing. Hopefully the last of our volleys will catch it.
Awaiting
See,
orders.
our guns now unfortunately having to reload, but most of our shots out. Come on, sound. Should be a panic dump or two coming in soon. I just realized I left one of you behind. We need to keep you up with the rest of the fleet. So, a couple of missiles. I can't actually stop that one, so we're just going to have to accept that hit. Ouch. Not the worst hit we ever took, but still acceptable. Let's see. There you are. You are a problem. You're going to orient like so. Thank you. And we're going to have you go down. So, unfortunately, missiles coming up here. Not much I can really do about that. They're just going to hit us. That said, I am confident enough that we'll be able to take these hits.
Establishing lock.
Gonna have you fire high explosive at that. They're firing RPF at us, which is the wrong move to make right now.
Getting there.
We're gonna try and find some cover on this shelf here. See a bunch of missiles trying to go after our scout asset. Might get it, might not. We're gonna see. Oop, I think just barely missed it. Sweet. Anyways, we're gonna fire on this thing with everything we got, just absolutely shredding it with our 250s.
Ready.
As for you, once we see where that battleship is, there you are. About right. Thank you for the follow. Okay, we're gonna fire a purple burp at this thing. This one's for you, new follower. Thank you, about right. Pew, 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 bloosh. Yeah, the bad investment is gonna eat purple here, which will ideally lead it to a, well, reconsidering of its current engagement with us. I'm gonna order you lot to fire the next volley on this thing over here. So, we're holding the C point pretty well, trying to keep ourselves on this. Oh, you want a meow? Okay, 1 second, I'll get you meow.
Spiker, spiker, spiker.
Got a couple missiles incoming, so that's what you're going to have to get for right now. We have got ourselves a fight on, so we're going to try and hide along this rock. Purple burps are deployed against the bad investment here. You can see big old impacts going off there. Just got plasmid. So, we're managing to hold ourselves pretty well on this rock. A bunch of those frigates now coming around. We're firing on this one, so we are pretty well handled against these. Their guns are not large enough caliber to really threaten us. That said, we are taking a hit or two here and there. So, just need to hold ourselves up along this rock as best we can. Actually order my ship to stop the flank maneuver as we do not need it. See the mighty purple burps going off here, just cooking the side of this thing. And yeah, we're doing great. We have managed to get ourselves 5 caps. One of their ships is in fact down for the count. You can see it popping life pods there.
Internal damage.
This one should be shortly along. There we go.
Ready.
Lock onto this one and order the fire, fire, fire. What a meow indeed. Yes, I'm told I do very good meows.
Weapons locked.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I guess I'm just Catboy, so it's kind of expected.
Heading here now.
I've had people say that they look over and they expected their cat to be complaining about something, but no, it's just me.
Engaging target. Firing on
What?
that target.
All right, we're going to try and clean up here the Pratchett. For those of you who don't know, Terry Pratchett is a very good author, and he has a wonderful series called Discworld that I highly recommend everyone read. So, trying to listen. Yep, there we go. That thing is in fact dead. We're going to order our ships to hold fire, mark it as killed. There we are. Next, we are going to assume that the enemy is over that direction-ish here. I'm going to give myself a warning. That way I know roughly where to aim. I'm actually going to order the ceasefire and then reloading of all weaponry. Also going to have myself cancel the locks there that I had.
Go ahead.
We'll order our ships to move around like so. I'm slightly worried this thing's reactor might bloom, but I don't have much armor anyways, so I don't see it as a huge issue. I'm going to just quickly get our ships oriented to face the threats, that we expected to be incoming. This one shot at us first, so it dies first. All right. All guns, you are approved for fire. This thing is more or less in arc, so we're going to order our ship to move backwards here.
Enemy missile.
Should be able to move pretty quick given the orientation. We want to use our forwards and reverse thrusters as they are the strongest. So you see them trying desperately to fire some missiles.
Awaiting
We're
orders.
going to have this one fired on as well. Split our damage a little bit. There we go. Bam, 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 bam. So, lovely high explosive hits. I do very much like this fleet as it is a fairly simple frontline fleet to play. You have a can opener essentially here, the Swordfish, which is just cooking away at this battleship. Look at that lovely plasma gush. I love that sound. We're making the enemy taste purple right now. They are firing missiles on us in an act of desperation, which we are not going to abide. And yeah, unfortunately, one of our guns does take a hit there, so we'll have to quickly fix that. We have some systems here. How many hours have you gotten Nebulous? You really look like you know what you're doing. I, at time of recording, have, I want to say like 900 hours. Keep in mind, a lot of this stuff is things that I have learned over time and talked to people, and there's a lot of resources available that you can pull things out from the Discord and whatnot. I try and make my streams accessible to new players and also a bit to experienced players alike. Experienced players know what I'm talking about, but I explain things for new players as well. Nebulous is a fairly niche title, as in most people have not really heard of it. I sound kind of hipsterish saying that, but it's a game that tickles certain fancies that I have, and, you know, hey, I just like it. So I try and make it so people are interested. They might pick up the spaceship game because it seems fun. Oop, that ship is dead. You can see the life pods ejecting there. This one I don't think is dead, but we are going to signal this one has been, in fact, killed. This one should be along shortly. Yes, we're going to say this one is dead. You can tell it is dead by the space oil, and 30 seconds after that deploys the life pods coming out of it. So we're going to cancel our tracks here.
Ready to move.
Next, we are going to issue another fire order, which is going to... Ooh, actually, that battleship is dead. Never mind, we don't have to. All right, you're going to hold your fire. So as you can see here, our plasma did a big... Oh, this thing got reactor cooked at some point. Never mind. I was going to say our plasma did a good job stripping it, but it looks like it just... Yeah, I'm pretty sure it got reactor cooked off, so that means it has no armor left anymore. Very cool. So we're going to just look at what is left on the map. We can see there's a little sprinter that wants to try and come out and play. We're not going to abide that. I think that's how you use that word, abide. Abide. It's a fun word. Anyways. You play it, just a very much noob. Still tons more stuff compared to Homeworld, even the small amount. Yeah, Neb is a interesting game. I would say that it is a game that you can heavily tell that there's a high skill ceiling to, but the skill floor, like once you get past the initial tutorials, it's pretty accessible. Starter fleets are very good, and you can like just kind of progress. So in this case, we get battle over. I managed to do pretty well as frontline there. I want to see how much damage I did because I quite like this fleet. It's one of those things that's like, it's new player accessible, but there's a high degree of mastery and it rewards you being creative and thinking on the fly in that. So yeah, I quite like Neb. I think it is a title that is not for everyone, in that there's certain people who will very much like it and there's certain people who just, it's not the game for them, and that is perfectly fine. But in the sort of niche title of Spaceship Commander game, I think it is a great one and that a lot of people will enjoy playing it. So take a look here. Performance-wise, the Swordfish, low damage, but it's not meant to deal damage. It's meant to strip things with plasma, spending a whole bunch of plasma. You can see here, each of our liners coming in dealing about 19,000 and 17,000 damage respectively. So I'm quite happy with their performance. We got our ideal target, which was a isolated battleship stuck with no cover or escape route. We just stripped it apart with our plasma. We seduced a whole bunch of missiles with our decoy containers. And then pretty much the rest of the game, we just shredded targets with our 250s. We managed to catch some sprinters on the cap point there and then deal with a pair of... It was a trio of Rains frigates and whatnot, so I'm quite happy with how that went. Remembering the missile tutorial. Yeah, the missile tutorial deliberately, that's been separated into its like own advanced tutorial. Missiles are something that are, I will not say new player friendly, but they're something that new players can do. There's a whole lot of depth to missiles. I'd say that they're probably the most in-depth part of the game's offensive systems. That said, if you're a noob just looking to get used to the controls, Task Force Oak is pretty much your best friend. It'll get you used to commanding 2 ships. Axfords are a very forgiving hull. They are very good at what they do. That said, just playing the starter fleets, I highly recommend it, people. The starter fleets are good. They are not perfect because, of course, the Neb metagame kind of evolves and changes and flows and whatnot. But if you have a starter fleet and you want to experiment on it, just make a copy of it and just start tweaking that. Decide, hey, you know, maybe I want to have like an EWAR shuttle in this fleet instead. I'd like to be covered under my jamming and stuff. Or maybe I'd like to have another bulk freighter that's got a bunch of plasma or something. This fleet that I have here, this was originally just a bunch of broadside 250 liners. Then I had trouble getting through the heavy armor of the Axford and the battleship. I decided, you know what? Maybe having a big old plasma burst liner is the way to go with it. So I got that. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Pew pew. Yeah, I'm very happy with this fleet in this match. Yeah, if you're a new player, again, starter fleets, highly recommend them. They are made there for a reason. Play them, you will get better in time. Learning maps and sort of deployments and just your situational awareness. It's pretty much just take it one step at a time. You don't have to learn missiles. Like, I ignored missiles for the better part of my Nebulous time. Learning how to counter them is something that everyone is going to have to do. But at the same time, you don't have to know exactly how to play them to be able to counter them. Knowing what to jam, what to chaff, what to like hold still and counter in that sense. Yeah, it is a barrier that you will have to like learn and overcome, and playing the tutorials after you've played the game for a bit is also a good idea. Like going back and redoing them so then you understand the terminology, the controls and stuff. You're not just completely head under the water kind of deal. So yeah, I would say that there's a few guides out there as well. I recommend looking up. Particularly Steam has gotten a few new ones recently that are very helpful. I've been meaning to do more tutorials and stuff because I've done a little bit of on-stream tutorial just saying, hey, here's how you do this thing, but I haven't actually done any video recordings. I've had the idea of like a 5-minute Nebulous guide for various things because I think that'd be a very helpful tool. I just haven't had time or energy to record it, so I might end up getting around to that then at some point. Yeah. Overall, though, this was a match showcasing some of the concepts, and I kind of talk about what my thinking process is as I go through the game. So with that said, we're going to hop back. I've got about 30 minutes left. I'm going to see if there is a match up right now. That's probably a full game. All right. I've got 30 minutes left, chat. So I'm going to try and get a last match in here. So we got ourselves on Arroya. Hands, Bones, seeing them again. Honestly, like I'm on OSP side, and I was quite happy with the way that that fleet worked. I think I might just go through and play that fleet again. I had a lot of fun with it last game. This was the original iteration where I've just got 1, 2, 3, more or less of the same ship with a bunch of broadside 250 guns. But having the extra plasma stripping power is quite good. I'm pretty happy with the way it worked out. I'm just going to show what I got here. We see we've got a couple little assets kind of kicking around here. 450 on that. Lena's bringing in some, plasma and T30. Nice to see the little hybrid setup go there. Yeah, I think that I'm pretty happy to play the front line. I also say that understanding like what is your strengths and weaknesses is a big part of Neb. As I explained earlier in the stream, the team that wins is the one that capitalizes on the enemy's mistakes more. Every enemy is going to make a mistake. It is your job to find what that mistake is or to cause them to make that mistake or misplay and then punish them. Generally speaking, this is just for RTS in general, there's about 3 big mistakes per match, like made by players and stuff, that you can then capitalize and get yourself a big advantage on. So being able to look for that situation or put yourself in a situation where you are causing that to happen. For example, in that case, I saw that the enemy had a battleship last game. They had it hugged up against a rock, and I thought to myself, okay, they're not expecting a flank from up above. So what I did was I set 2 decoy containers out, which then seduced a bunch of missiles. And they thought, okay, well, there's a decoy container up there. That's probably not a real ship. So then they get a little confident. They fired their missiles off, which did not hit my ships. And then we just ended up going over the top of the ridge, dumping a whole bunch of plasma, and then that battleship had no choice. So that was the enemy made a mistake, and they didn't realize they made a mistake until it was already too late. So we were able to get ourselves up about, I want to say 3,000 points there. I didn't actually check how much that battleship was worth, but generally battleship is going to be at least 2,000 points that you get yourself up on value trade-wise. So yeah. I stayed a little aware of what my allies were doing on the flank. I could have pushed very aggressively sooner, but I saw that my allies were busy cleaning up some keystones, so I thought, okay, I'm going to just take a moment. I'm already winning this fight. We're at an advantage. We don't have to push right now, so we can just wait for a couple things to develop and then put ourselves in a more advantageous position and go from there. Yeah. Try and put yourself in an advantageous position. I will say in Neb, you always want to be doing something. Like you want to constantly be making adjustments and making sure that you're using APM, which is one of your resources. That's actions permits for those who don't know the terminology. I'm going to deploy on the underside here and try and cover the A point. Just accordingly here. There we are. But you always want to be using your resources. You can see me being silly here and flipping the map over a bunch of times. Whee! I'm probably going to play with the map inverted, so Aurora is going to look a little different than most people remember. But you want to be making sure that you're not over microing as well. Like if you're constantly trying to baby like your ship's headings and stuff, that can be detrimental. You want to basically play to your strengths. Understand what you do as a player and how to use it effectively. For example, I know that I am not the greatest missiler player or the greatest person who plays battleships. I am not a huge fan of the battleship hull, so I tend to avoid it. I understand that that is a bit of a flaw in my arsenal, because if I'm asked to play battleship, I'm not going to play it as well. But I have come up with ways to compensate for that. You really need to, like, if people are saying, oh, you need to play this, like, particular thing, this is, like, ultimate medical. It's important to find out what works for you and how to play that in the game. Because the thing to remember is that you are a player with a particular style, and you are going to have your strengths and you're going to have your weaknesses. And if you just keep like trying to pretend those weaknesses don't exist, you're not going to develop. You need to figure out what works for the time. What can I do to improve in the here and now? Like if you're trying to play a fleet that is made for like super high tournament level competitive players and stuff, and you're just starting the game, it's probably not going to work because you just won't get the proper appreciation of the tools at the time. But if you play something within your skill set and within your knowledge, and you just end up practicing and getting good at that, you can then have a platform to branch out into other stuff. Like, if I'm playing a frontline fleet, like I have played many times over, I know what I'm looking for as a frontline fleet. That, in turn, makes me better as a cap player, because I know what the frontline players are thinking, and I can then decide, okay, well, let's say I want to snake a shuttle around here, where are the frontline players going to be looking, and how do I avoid them? So, it's finding the different little strengths you can do with the game. I won't say it is easy, but I will say this. If something is hard, it's probably because you are doing it wrong. And that's not a bad thing. So, you just figure out what are you doing wrong, how to correct it, and then go from there. Like, when I take a loss in this game, I don't see it entirely as a loss. I see it as, okay, what mistakes did I make? What can I do better next time? How do I adapt to that? I know some people who will get very upsetty spaghetti about it, and is like, oh no, I lost the game. It's like, at the end of the day, this is a pretty casual game. Like, we are playing Skirmish in an early access title. Basically, everything you see here is subject to change. My ships are upside down, don't worry about that. I've just played the map inverted. So yeah, just play the thing, focus on improving yourself, because if you're just trying to go for wins, you're going to be unhappy like 50% of the games. Like, literally, just by the statistics, you will win about half of the games you play. And if you're only having fun half of the game, or you're just like drawing enjoyment strictly from seeing number go up wins, you're not going to have a good time, because just half of your experience is going to be miserable because you end up with a loss. Just going to burn flank here to get to our position a little bit sooner. Boost the formation as well. This is something I learned because I used to play a bunch of Heroes of the Storm, which is a very good game in my opinion. I'm going to set myself some fire orders here while I talk and kind of give you all the little rundown of my past game experience. In Heroes of the Storm, I used to be a teenager, and I used to be a very... Well, I won't say that I was the saltiest person, but I will say that I definitely had the mindset of, I'm going to get upset about things. Wow, this is unbalanced. Wow, why would you play this thing? Rah, 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 rah. And as I kind of like grew up and got older and just developed more skill set and stuff, I just kind of moved away from that, and being able to stay calm under pressure and figure out, okay, this is what's going to happen. This is how we're going to improve ourselves. This is how we're going to care less about win rate and more about what are we developing. That's how I think this just improved me as a player, and I would recommend it to a lot of people as well. Quite literally, just like changing what you define as winning is a really good way. Like, to me, a win is any time that I have improved. So if I have achieved a victory because I did something that I'm like, yep, I made this choice, this was a smart choice, this is how I improved myself here, then that is a win. For example, if I end up playing against a full team of, say, completely new players, and I like completely stomp them, I don't feel good about that. I don't count that as a win. I have not been challenged, and I have not improved myself there at all. That is really me just robbing myself of the opportunity to improve. In this case, what we're doing here is we're overwatching the A point with a bunch of our stuff. We are able to pop around this corner. I'm expecting there to be a beam ship right around like here-ish. I'm actually going to put a warning marker there for myself. This is another tool I like using. The ping tool is very good because it gives me little markers I can do hemisphere tracking with. So, that said, oh, I should have kept E. Okay. That's a minor oops on our part. So we're just going to do a silly thing here. Because I am expecting there to be a beamstone guarding here, we're going to make it look like we are... yeah, we're going to make it look like we are going to just be stupid and go onto the A point. So that'll be a thing. We're just going to make it barely drift around here. Hopefully this will bait out the beamstone, which we will in turn be able to hit. I'm just doing some silly pathing now. Don't mind me. Yippee. There we go. So, with that said, E point, we will have to cap that at some point, but there's currently no threat there, so we will deal with that when we have to. I'm trying to keep my fleet together right now for the kind of collective strength of point defense and also firepower. I have you order the Ghost Fire order here as well, just trying to keep myself positioned ready. Guess I can turn off the flank engines. I don't want to have my DC teams taxed, just have everything topped up, fully ready and whatnot. Let's see. Okay, I did order the container launch out there, so I'm also going to do another one where I send a bulk freighter decoy up like so. This is another common path, making it look like I'm going to go after this point here. In turn, this might mess with my enemy's head. I quite like decoys. I know that they don't fool everyone, but as we saw last game, as it turns out, you just need to fool enough people for them to be worth it. This is a 6-point investment. I was already going to take the container mount, so investing like 12 points of my 3,000 into something that can seduce even like 12 points of missile, or just keep the enemy's attention for a bit, saying, huh, I wonder what that could be. Hello!
Receiving. Missile reserves low.
I'll get to it. Overwatching A. Yeah. Just give me a second here, okay? I'm going to move the busy summer off to do that, and we'll be back in a second here. And have you be here. I'm expecting there to be something to try and contest it, and I'm also playing off the assumption that there is going to be enemy ships about there, so... So in this case, good communication is also another great tool. Literally, teamwork is overpowered. You can just straight up win a match by giving like little subtle suggestions saying, hey, can you possibly go over and do this? And usually the answer to it is just, yes, you asked nicely, you were reasonable, that's good. In this case, I've gotten a decoy container stuck on the side of my ship, so I'm just going to have to quickly have it roll and get that thing unstuck. Kind of funny when this happens. This is not the first time I've actually seen this happen. This happened to a friend of mine, Doc Vivi, last week, so there we go. We have now corrected our little issue there. There we go. We're just going to go ahead and get this cap. The enemy has, in turn, not capped the D point, so it's kind of interesting, as it suggests that they might be doing the same thing I did and not bothering to contest here, or there might be something else going on.
Send traffic.
So in this case, the busy summer, I'm going to have you set your guns to be set up like about, let's see here. Yeah, they are perfectly mirroring us. That's rather funny. Okay, so we're a little bit behind on the caps. That is a minor issue on my part. If the A point stays neutral, that will mean that the enemy has advantage, given that, well, they just, you know, have more points than us. And if nothing else happens the rest of the game, then it's going to just be the game, well, where they cap out. So it's going to mean initiative falls to us to now do something about it. So recognizing initiative is an important thing. This is a terminology. Oh, yep, you see, again, line container decoys, totally worth it. They just ate a whole bunch of missiles. Whoop whop.
Receiving.
Yeah, they now know that we use decoys, so they're going to be a little more cautious because they have gotten oops and fooled once. If we fool them twice, that is entirely on them. But in this case, we're just going to be hanging out, chilling here for a sec. And have you actually move back a little bit up here. So yeah, I'm assuming that there's something around there. We see a decoy clipper just kind of scraping along the rock there. I sent a line decoy ship below, so they might get it. They might not. We will see. You're just capping the point here now, and then you're going to regroup in my battle group. I could entirely, like, possibly just push under here, as they have not revealed anything yet. They could be hiding behind this rock. They could be hiding behind this rock. I don't know, and I don't have scouting assets, which is one weakness of this fleet. You have to decide when you go into the fleet editor, what is your fleet's strength and weakness going to be? Because you don't have enough points to do everything. So you have to play within the bounds of your budget and also your fleet's abilities. So if I decide I just want to recklessly push over here, there's a very good chance that there's going to be something waiting to punish me. I know for a fact there's at least one ship on the D point, and I don't know what this ship over here is. So I'm going to make the choice to play rather safely. This ship's going to zoom its way back over to my battle group, and I'm just going to play holding here for the moment. I know for a fact that I have decoys moving over here, so there's a possibility these will in turn get shot and a bunch of missiles and stuff dumped or give me information. So with that said, I'm just going to wait for the battle to develop a little bit. We see that we have gotten a lock on some of their assets here. As to what it is, we don't know quite yet. Oh, there we go. We see a Vauxhall, a surrender CL. Okay, joy. Yeah, nice. With a active decoy. Okay, so that is going to be very good for us because we now know exactly where to throw missiles. I'm just going to try and marker this thing in a sec. Yep. Attack marker, please. Thank you. There we are. Attack marker is actual. You call that out to the team for anyone who didn't see.
Reporting.
There we are. So now we know what we are facing. We have pop chaff here because we detected missiles at some point. That just happens. So
Send traffic.
we are technically losing, but we have the ability to be patient. We could push up and take the A point like we discussed earlier, but we also know where the enemy is right now, and we have time. So using effectively our resources, we are able to get our mass drivers and stuff locked onto that target. We know exactly where they are, and they are not going to get to cover anytime soon. They're going to try and desperately throw missiles to counteract this. I believe that there should be some point defense on one of these. Yeah, I see some grazer turrets here. Oh, they have an Ocello with them as well? Yeah, so none of those missiles should get through. This is a long-range fire support array. They've got a Ocello with railguns and the mass drivers in the bulk freighter here. So this CL over here should bite it pretty fast. I'm going to mark this thing as priority so they know exactly which target to shoot at.
Standing by.
In our case here, you see, again, our ship's kind of popping chaff here. Not something I want them really to be doing. See, a bunch of our container decoys got used up, so it shows this as empty. In this case, I feel rather confident to try and make a move soon. Again, being patient is good, but you have to decide when you want to do something and when you need to just wait. We have not seen the enemy, so I'm expecting maybe a strange flank push like this to show up. I'm going to give a attack marker warning about these. There we are. Just going to call this out there. We see that they have friends, so I don't want to get stuck waiting too long, but I also need to make a move at some point. That said, I am presuming there is something on the A point. It just makes sense that they would have something down here watching this point. I've sent this line ship decoy over here, and it should show up soonish, so there's a possibility that this thing will in fact get beamed or locked onto or something. If it does not, I am fully capable of pushing onto the A point with the support of my team here. See, we have a bunch of things ready and waiting, just expecting there to be stuff. We've also got our flank pushing over here to the B point. So as long as this goes through, I don't have to do anything. I just have to hold and wait and be patient. If the enemy comes around here, I can quickly turn myself and face that way. And in turn, if the enemy decides to come around this angle, I have it covered. So I've pretty much got 2 arcs of fire that I need to maintain. And I am confident to do that with the current setup I've got. That said, I'm putting a little distance between me and this point over here because I know there's a possibility of beamstone, just treating that with the respect it deserves. Now, I'm just going to hang out. We are going to get a cap. It is going to be good. We don't have to worry about anything. And yeah, we are currently winning. We might be down by a few points, but we know what the enemy is doing and we know how to punish their mistake. So. Yep.
Send traffic.
I'm just going to say, hey, we can do this now. That said, I have the opportunity to take the A point, but I'm assuming there is something in here-ish. So. I'm not pushing right now because I'm thinking that the enemy has something to counteract that, given just, you know, the kind of what we've seen of them. We see there's a surrender CL with a whole bunch of missiles. We see that there's a couple of little assets here. And I just decided, you know, if I went onto that point and I got jumped by a beam destroyer or a beam battleship, that would be a massive loss for us. We don't need this point to win. We can entirely make do with the stuff we got. There's a sprinter that got neutralized here. We are going to get the B point shortly. Honestly, they could just send their jammer shuttle over there and probably grab it, but still better safe than sorry right now. We know there's a missile boat that's dumped a lot of its payload, but there's still quite a bit of stuff on this flank up top here. So I'm just, again, going to be playing it safe. Just hanging out, keeping myself aware of the situation, and if the enemy decides they want some, they are going to get some. So there. Ordering my ships to hang out here appropriately. Again, I'm expecting the enemy to be pushed out, and I am then ready to punish them. Ooh. That's rather unfortunate. I guess they didn't scram their reactors. Huh. Okay. I didn't expect any missiles to get there, so that's rather surprising and concerning. I guess a bunch of those must have been Hekpi. Explains why they had a single CL there. So, let's see. They're trying to get a good lock onto this thing. They do manage to get it. I'm expecting them to probably dip down and try and threaten E, so I think that that is the move for me to rotate myself now. I'm going to flip over the map again. This is a little disorienting, and I'm sorry for that, but I'm going to decide that the enemy is most likely going to push out from here. So I'm going to correct my fire order to reflect that. So just going to correct my heading like so. There we are. Going to adjust my heading like so. And yeah, we're just going to move according to that. I would love to get the A point. Yep, there it is. See, I told you. I knew there was something over here. Now we can see them moving up just very slowly. So instead, we are going to play the sick, nasty flanker. Going to order my fire orders to be here, like this. There we are. And you are going to be here like this. Yeah, this is what being patient and aware of the map does for you. The enemy has gotten impatient, realizing that they are being threatened. There's not much they can do to stop the B cap if they see it. So we are going to go off that presumption and say that there's something here that needs to die. All right. Now we might not get the angle on it exactly. In fact, I'm going to assume that we won't. So we'll just be playing according to that. I'll flip the map over again so that I'm able to get a good lock here. There we are. As for you, I need you to move up here. There we are. Yes, bingo. So we were right. This is vindication, everyone. So now that we know what the enemy has, we are going to issue an immediate fire order. We're going to order the flank speed activated here now. We see that they did, in fact, have beamstones. If I had gotten greedy and pushed out onto that point, I would be heavily suffering right now. So we're going to just loop around here, neutralize the lead track. We don't need to use our plasma, so we'll just keep that in reserve. Because if the enemy doesn't know that we have that, that is a very strong thing for us. So we're just going to fire on this thing. It should be shredded momentarily. See, ooh, those are actually rails. Rails in the trench is not something you see very often. Okay, that's kind of cool to see. I do like seeing people do something different. That said, I don't believe that the rail array had the right tools here. They're most likely trying to hold down that fire lane and just punish with that. I don't know what this one is. I know that is rail and that is rail. There's the possibility of this being beam, which I don't like. So we're going to order it fired upon. As for you, you're going to fire on this one. There we go. So we see them trying to go for the A point. We, again, were in perfect position to punish the enemy. The enemy had to make something happen because we had a play going, and because we were patient, we are now rewarded. Again, I am not ordering the plasma bulker here to fire because I do not want them to know that I have this. I want them to think that I am just 2 bulk freighters down here and that I have a bunch of 250 and not reveal that I do in fact have plasma in case there is a destroyer, not a destroyer, a battleship or an Axford that wants to come around and fight. They will assume that they can take a fight against me. Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. I expected one of them to be a beam because I'd seen 2 were rail, but one of them was beam. I now have correctly assumed that the enemy had a tool to counter me here. And I feel 1, very vindicated because of that, but 2, I'm now able to counter their counter. So it's just kind of rock, paper, scissors all the way down. And because I was patient here, I am able to do this. If I had been impatient and gone on to that point, I would have gotten hit by that beam, my drive would have gotten cooked, and then these rails would have heavily punished me, just inflicting a whole bunch of criticals until I explode. So, in this case, this is the priority threat, so we're just going to dump every shot into it. That said, we see that our allies are choosing to lock different targets. So we're just going to lock onto them for them. There we are. Again, we're going to be looking around. We see we're taking a little bit of rail hits here and there, but a single rail round to the broadside of my bulk raider is not a threat. We see that there is something, in fact, behind us here, so we're just going to have our shot ready for that, if it is big. We're going to clean up this mess here, because they are not going to get the A point. I am guaranteeing that. Just going to see us shooting this thing down here. Big intent on the back. See, Lena has surrendered. Unfortunately, we are down 1, but the enemy is about to be down a fleet as well. They're firing rather big rounds there. They probably want to switch over to HE.
Lock on warning.
Gonna call that out there, approximately. So I'm expecting there to be something on the E point, but I don't know what. See a bunch of fire is being inflicted here, so rather annoying that, the fire damage we get from it, but I want to make sure that this beamstone does in fact bite it. Calling out to my teammates to use 450 HE. I saw they had AP loaded. Sometimes you can call little corrections there. It's not backseat gaming, it's just helpful advice. You do want to make sure that you are providing helpful advice and not just being that armchair admiral who tells everyone how to do everything. You want to be a sort of guiding mentorship role rather than just, you know, that one guy who everyone doesn't like. He's like screaming his head off. Yeah. It's like, it's covering for your allies' like weaknesses, because there's only so many resources you have. Like, if you don't realize that you're using AP rounds against like a light ship like this, you can quickly say, hey, use the 450 HE, and they're like, oh, thank you. And that's useful in development, versus screaming, say, you idiot, why are you doing this? Ma, 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 ma. We've all met somebody like that in our life. See that they have a little asset over here, which I do not know what it is, but I do not like it. We're going to quickly correct against that. They do get the A point here, but that is just fine by me. You see our assets now moving in to cap it back, and I'm going to start rotating onto the other threats here. Taking a look, trying to hear this thing in the reactor go. There we go. That is killed. Hold fire for a second. Then we're going to lock onto you, and this should be the last one we need to take out. So unfortunately, we are not able to hit it with all of our ships, so we're going to instead lock onto you and fire. I probably don't have arc on this, but I might in a second if I'm good. Let's see. Busy Summer just going to fire the last of your rounds into this thing. So not quite dead yet. Instead, just going to keep ourselves in position, ready to punish anything. We see that is a Vauxhall. Okay, so we know there is Voxes about and abounds, but that is the missile Vox from earlier, so not a big deal. We're instead just going to move back and recapture our point. Like so. Just going to call this one. 3285 is alive. We should see our little 450 bulker hit that. So again, me and Skull communicating here. Teamwork is the dream work. Trying to fire on target here instead of what I was shooting at before. So we're going to have to adjust ourselves. Oop, we've ran into a rock. Oopsies. So sometimes your formations do that. You have to be aware of your ships. Yeah. I hope that this information has been helpful for the people watching. So I don't know what that is. I'm assuming it's not very big. So we're just going to try and cook ourselves onto the point here ASAP. Set the flank ahead. Let's go. Trying to keep up our formation and whatnot. Now that we have gotten that sorted out, we can get back into formation, making our orders easy. Yeah. So again, they were the ones who got impatient. They had lost their B point up here because we had sent some of our ships to cap it, and we did that well. I believe that, yep, they sent the little jammer shuttle, which unfortunately must have gotten missiled. We see the Ocello here with his good PD net should be able to stop these incoming, I think. That's quite the nasty secret combo. We see some of them coming in. Ooh, no, unfortunately, it looks like they took hits before, so I guess their weapon systems are knocked out, or their point defense, rather. All right, so we see there is enemy problems. Hello, you. Target locked on. I'm going to assume that that thing is not a problem anymore. This thing is definitely not a problem. Marked target is killed. There we are. And we have plasma here just for this exact job. So we're going to lock onto this thing, and the millisecond that that comes around the corner, we are going to watch what a purple gush does on visual track range. So this thing desperately trying to slow down and get on point. and it's in for a very rude surprise. Are you ready, kids? See this thing? Is it already dead? Oh, never mind. Aw, man.
Send traffic.
Okay, fine. Hold fire. Aw. I do kind of want to shoot it some more, but I know that I shouldn't, so I won't.
Aye, aye. Full burn.
We'll cancel our flank move here because we don't need to burn our engines anymore. We've dealt with the enemy assets as we saw them, and we're just going to order our ships to basically have a fire order down this way.
Eyes on target.
There we are. Going to order the reload of all of our guns just to make sure everything is fully topped up. Same with you, even though you haven't fired a shot yet. Yeah. This is us being the close guard threat that we needed to be, and overall just doing our job. We weren't going to make any big plays there. Patience is a big thing where, again, the enemy got impatient. They pushed their beamstones out, assuming it was clear, and we punished that. So now we see our priority target up here. Ooh, going to mark that with an attack marker because that is the heavy cruiser we actually wanted to see this game. There we are, priority. I believe there was a pair of them. Maybe it's just the same track I saw twice.
Reporting.
Either way, that is the threat that we want to deal with, so we are going to order our ships to quickly get up there because there is a fight to be had. So now that we have cleaned up most of the enemy, we should be able to just, at our leisure, pick the next battle. Let's see. I'm going to set these to a vertical order, so that way I don't have to worry about their kind of positioning exactly. There we go. That should work. Next, going to issue the fire order to be over this direction. I'm actually going to keep it on HE in case I run into anything that I want to kill on the way. So we're going to try and just basically pop up through this hole and then go from there. We should be able to just kind of traverse empty open space. I don't see anything that could really punish us this game. So, yeah. And the fleet that would have been there to punish us has already been dealt with. So, just going to go like so. You have your fire order. I'm going to ceasefire you and then have your 250 fire off this way. I was correct in that it is a pair of ships. If I had to bet, probably that's a... Actually, I don't know what to say about that. It's got a little gun on it. It might just be a Corvette. See them throwing in the towel with a GG. So, unfortunate, but hey, happens. Ooh. Oh dear. That is going to be much closer than I thought. Okay, hi there.
We can take him.
Yep, that is an entirely different threat. Okay, so we're going to lock onto his reins at first here. So we should be able to get him. We need to really move now. I did not realize the situation that developed up above. So, I'm going to have you lock on with your guns here and lock on with this, and then you are free to fire as soon as you can. We need to get up top and get into the mix. I did not realize the current situation. So, this is us making a slight misplay. I had handled the bottom. I did not realize that they just push Axfords over the top. That is a Beamford that is about to have a little bit of a personality correction. Open fire! We're going to trim off the escort here first, and then once the plasma has hit this... Yep. You are free to fire. Yep. Pew, 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 pew. Yeah, this thing is going to stay in the trench here and then move along. Ideally, that way we're able to plasma it without taking return fire. Going to have you move along like so. There we are. Now, because we have the ability to individually micro these, we're going to do that just a little bit. Setting our ships here. Trying to avoid bumper ships at all if possible. Just going to move my ships accordingly. There we are. Ba-boo-ba-doo, ba-boo-ba-doo. Nutaboot has surrendered. All right, this thing is our next priority target, so we're going to fire on it. There we are. This one should be dead. Yep.
Standing by.
There we are, confirming that is in fact dead. I can see the smoke, and this thing is going to go down shortly. Is that... Oh, never mind. Hold fire. Hold fire. That thing is dead. There we are. So, all right. Now, we're going to set our ship's formation like so, because we need to quickly orient ourselves to the next threat. We're going to cease fire on everything. Cancel your tracks. There we are. Everyone just hold fire. There we go. All right, so we see that there is problems coming our way here. So we need to deal with that shortly. There's an Axford that needs to die. We're going to have our plasma turrets lock onto it, ideally. And then we'll see if we can't get a fire order on it as well. I'm just going to issue the fire order now so our ships start turning and then do the ghost fire order trick, because I am assuming they have electronic warfare. So even though we are fairly ahead on caps, the enemy still is fully able to come back into this game. We need to quickly adjust to what they have. You see them throwing in the towel there, sort of. But there's still the threat they can pose. Is this one dead? It is not. Okay, so we're going to go after that ASAP. Ordering my ships in to position now. All right, I want to get a lock on this target before I plasma. That said, that's a pretty good lock. You know what? I think we can afford two blur. Yeah, we can do two bursts. All right, so you are going to purple plasma that thing for all it's worth. You guys as well, please and thank you. We're going to try and trim its escorts if possible. See, yeah, a bunch of our plasma, unfortunately, going wide here. Kind of the nature of the range that we're firing at. That said, we should be able to get a second burst before it's able to get all of its guns towards us. We're just going to beeline towards this thing. I want to try and trim its escorts because that's part of the benefit of 250. It's very effective against small targets. Because we have tipped our hand and they know what this thing is. It's going to take a bunch of incoming fire now. So we just have to make sure that we are able to survive that. We're going to try and jump in front. So they have some frigates and stuff here as escorts. I don't know if this thing got enough plasma hits on it. We're going to try and shred it with 250, hoping to hit a broadside or something. Our next plasma barrage should be very accurate. Oop. Oh, crap. I just realized I had been firing on the wrong track. Okay, so that's going to be a bit of a skill issue there. I did not make sure that I had correctly issued all my fire orders. So empty space there, going to eat a whole bunch of fire. That said, that is going to be a very purple plasma at Axford. We are making use of our combo ships here, trying to get ourselves in close. We want to be about 4 kilometers from the enemy because that is the most effective range of plasma as far as I know. So yeah, we're just going to tear them apart here, try and take out their stuff. See, they are jamming us, which is rather annoying. So I'm going to instead order this volley to go onto the ship there, the little EWAR frigate that could.
What are our orders, Commander?
Go. You still have your locks on target. Fire every plasma shot we got into that thing. Give them the GG, because it looks like, yep, they've chosen to throw in the towel, realizing now, this is also the other thing you can do as a fleet like that, because we were very patient and we took basically no damage. We show up in like the 4th quarter of that game and we are able to pretty much wipe that fleet just completely out. If the score had been higher and gone to like 1,500 points or something like that, there's possibility ANS could still have some asset to snake around the back caps and get something done there. Yeah. In that case, we were just able to correctly get ourselves in position. Again, big damage numbers on 2 of the ships. Plasma doing a little bit there. We didn't really need it. We played very patiently there. Understanding the kind of like metagame that we were playing and what we were trying to accomplish there and how to go about it is a very big deal. This is something you will learn in time, but I hope that these streams are kind of educational, showing you what I'm doing, explaining my kind of thinking process and how you can develop some of this for yourself. Again, play your particular style. I have certain ways that I like to play. I like certain compositions. This will not necessarily work for everyone, but if you can take some of the lessons learned here and get that sort of transferable skills, adapt it into your own gameplay, then I hope that it helps you. So, anyways, that's the last game I have time for today. Again, like I said earlier in the stream, I am a little bit stretched for time, so going to find somebody who we can go ahead and raid now. I'm pretty happy with the team's performance overall. We had people who went about, did all the things there, and yeah. Anyways, if you want to, you can follow my channel. I stream whatever, whenever this week. I do try and get a schedule up on my Twitter at the start of every week, and yeah. We're just going to go ahead and pass that off to somebody else. I will someday get some 5-minute Neb tutorials explaining a bunch of this stuff up on YouTube so that you can watch those at your leisure. But until I have time and energy to do that, I'm just going to be here. So let's go ahead and see who is live right now. I'm going to open up my own Twitch channel and see. Okay. Vivi is playing Homeworld Remastered. I remembered we had mentioned Homeworld earlier on, so I'm going to go ahead and raid into her. She plays Nebulous on Friday, I believe, and I should be there for that. So a little bit of Catboy and Catgirl silliness. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. We are going to raid her in about 10 seconds. So yeah. I don't really have any closer. Just go say hi to Vivi for me. Thank you, chat. You've been great. Have a good one. Good night.